Live from Edward T. Berry Ice Rink on the campus of UMass Boston for some New England Hockey Conference action featuring the Skidmore College Thoroughbreds and the UMass Boston Beacons. Good evening, everybody. Andrew Bluestein here with you alongside my broadcast partner, Matt Meisenbacher. We thank you for joining us on the Beacons Broadcast Network. Well, Meisey, the final home stretch here of the season, the final two games. First here tonight against Skidmore and back at it tomorrow against Castleton. And the Beacons, they can get as high as a 3 seed. We'll go into the scenarios and whatnot throughout the broadcast, but a lot of injuries coming into tonight for the Beacons, including a couple guys out there playing through injuries. How does that impact them the rest of this final stretch here in these last two games heading into the tournament?
Yeah, really difficult, I think, especially given the matchup last week against Johnson and Wales. A few injuries happened on the Friday night game. We were here for that. We saw players, all of which came back in the game, but spending some time with the training staff. And then again on Saturday night, a few more injuries, some of which were more serious in nature. Darius Bell, one of the transfers on this team, just getting acclimated. He's still wearing the red equipment from Milwaukee School of Engineering. He takes a shot off the head in warm-ups, and now he's dealing with a concussion. It just stuff you don't want to have happen at this point of the season. It puts you in a bind. So you look at tonight's roster, most of which is the same, but this is a huge game. Tomorrow's night is senior night. It's against Castleton, team UMass has done traditionally well against in a lower side of the conference this year. You got to have tonight. This should be a 4-point weekend for the Beacons. You mentioned the seedings that are involved. Right now, they're in the 5. They're trying to get to the 4, possibly even the 3. Got to start with a win here tonight if you're going to get those 4 points.
And just to go over those scenarios, so if the Beacons win these last two games tonight and tomorrow and get a loss or a tie from Babson, and then a couple of losses from Elmira in their last two games, then the Beacons will have the 3 seed. So that's the scenario. They can get as high as that. And having home ice in this conference tournament is huge.
It really is, especially in the first round, right? Because realistically, by the second round, every team is good. So whether you're playing home or away has a minimal factor. But in the first round, particularly if you look at the standings, there's a lot of scenarios that would end up with these two teams playing each other in the first round regardless. Who has home is really the only thing they're playing for. Could be another scenario where UMass ends up playing Elmira, and we can get into all that. But I think this is going to be a true test. The Beacons have worked hard to come back from the first half of the year to where they were at and where they're at now. This is really the team they've been chasing or with most of the time this season in the conference. So I think it's a good test to see where they are here tonight. Best will get the start. They need a big game out of him.
All right, let's take a look at our season stats between these two teams. You see the Beacons coming in at 2.50 goals per game. Thoroughbreds at 3.30. Beacons goals against 3.70. And Skidmore coming in at a goal less at 2.70. Power play still sitting at around 17% for the Beacons. It's been better the second half of the season, but still some problems here and there. Skidmore at 24.6%. Pretty solid numbers there in the power play. Penalty kill for the Beacons, they have the advantage there. 83.5% to the Thoroughbreds, 81.7. And then shots per game, the Beacons a high number, 37.10. And then for the Thoroughbreds, 32.40. And an interesting stat I was taking a look at, Meisey, Skidmore has 75 goals for on the season, and Beacons sitting at only 57, but they have both allowed the same amount of goals against at 63, so a lot of offense from this Skidmore team here.
Yeah, and you take a look at their top two lines, they're about a point per game. In matter of fact, yeah, all 6 of them at 20 points or higher, which tells me they've got 2 lines that they can roll out here tonight that are going to be able to get some offense rolling. And that's really been the one piece, I think, for UMass that's really been too hot and cold, too sporadic. Sometimes we see the offense and it looks like they finally turn the corner, they're starting to click, and the next night they come out, we don't really see that same team. So we'll see which version we get here tonight, but I think that's a really good indicator. You look at the season stats, and you take a look at the 2.5 goals per game versus 3.3. I mean, it's almost a full goal difference. So that's something that this team is either going to have to rely on defensively and shutting down this Skidmore team or finding a way to generate some more offense to keep up with the pace.
Let's take a look at our matchup to watch here tonight. As first, for the visiting Skidmore Thoroughbreds, Caden Patcher coming in, their leading scorer, 13 goals, 8 assists, 21 points, plus 6 on the season. He has one heck of a shot. As mentioned, their leading goal scorer at 13. For the Beacons, Owen Bordeaux, 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 points, plus 3. He's really been strong the last couple of games, including scoring a breakaway goal against Johnson and Wales last weekend.
Yeah, without a doubt. And he's a player, I think, if the Beacons can find a way to get him more involved into this hockey game. I really like the second line. We mentioned it last time we were on the air with Friedman, Manzo, and Matthews. But we're looking, the top line has been fairly consistent. I think if they can find Bordeaux, someone else to contribute to that top six, and he's the type of guy that can do it, they can walk out of here with 2 points here tonight.
Let's take a look at the sneak peek ahead for the Beaks here this weekend. As looking at the schedule, women's ice hockey is at Plymouth State. That game already underway, 6 p.m. February 11th, indoor track meet at Westfield State Invitational. That's going on all day long. Women's basketball will be at Rhode Island College for a 1 p.m. tip-off. Men's basketball at Rhode Island College as well for a 3 p.m. tip-off. Women's ice hockey at Castleton at 3 p.m. and then men's ice hockey will be here against Castleton for a 4 p.m. puck drop. Now let's take a look at our keys to the game for this matchup here tonight. We're having a bit of issues with the graphics there, but
I can give them to you.
I'll kick it over to you, Mike.
I can give it to you. I think it's fairly simple. I think for me, when we look at this Beacons team, and we've talked about the offense a lot, I think for me, the simplification, the simpler they make their offensive scheme, the better. We saw it Friday night and a few weeks ago. When they enter the zone, one pass, maybe two, and try to find a way to get it towards the net, I think they're having the most success doing that. We've seen a better effort with their net front presence, getting guys in front of the net, making sure the goaltender has a little bit of traffic. Obviously, best case, taking his eyes away. But when this team tries to make the perfect play, they try to get too pretty in the offensive zone, they get into a lot of trouble. I think they got to simplify. And then defensively, Best is going to come up with the first save more times than not. When they get into trouble is when they get pinned in their own zone, and they're asking Best to come up with 3, 4, 5 saves in a row. Sometimes these teams have a way of dominating them 2, 3, 4 shifts in the offensive zone. They've really got to limit that. They've been strong defensively. I think that's where this team has made its core. But they've got to find a way to make sure that Best is not being taxed too much in the offensive zone. So those are the keys for me. And then with Skidmore, they can make this. If they can make this a track meet, I think it definitely hurts the Beacons. I don't think the Beacons have the horses to keep up with the Skidmore team offensively. We mentioned 6 forwards at a point per game or better. The last thing the Beacons see right now is this becoming a track meet. And no pun intended with the thoroughbreds, but their offense looks strong, and I think they've got to find a way to limit that here tonight.
Well, both teams taking the ice here at Edward T. Barry Ice Rink. We'll step aside, take a quick break, and be back after the national anthem to go over the starting goaltenders and puck drop. Once again, Andrew Bluestein, Matt Meisenbacher here with you. We'll be right back on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
Proportion to me is the lived experience of our Division III student athletes. They balance life from an academic perspective and the rigors of competing at a high level, bonding with teammates and building lifelong friendships. But they also are involved in their communities. They work jobs and internships and volunteer. They've learned to be resilient. Diverse experiences are setting them up for the future.
Passion's love. Passion is love for what you do. Because I think when you face challenges, it comes down to how much you want it and how much you love it. Passion is what keeps you going forward. Seeing so many people that were like-minded and so hardworking in their sport and academics, being surrounded by like-minded people makes you want to be more passionate. I think it pushes you to a different level that maybe you didn't think you had. And you can do the best of both worlds and love all of it.
Proportion to me is the lived experience of our Division III student athletes. They balance life from an academic perspective and the rigors of competing at a high level, bonding with teammates and building lifelong friendships. But they also are involved in their communities. They work jobs and internships and volunteer. They've learned to be resilient. Diverse experiences are setting them up for the future.
Passion's love.
The 5-campus UMass system is the university that educates the workforce of Massachusetts. We recognize that we are truly here for a reason, and that recognition inspires us and drives us every single day.
Responsibility is being accountable for your words and actions, first and foremost. It also is an obligation to be a positive influence in the communities around you. Being in a D3 program, you're going to have lots of different opportunities. You're not just an athlete, you're also involved in student life. Your academics are extremely important. We give a lot of our student athletes responsibilities right from the start. I give them leadership opportunities by having them engage in the community, be a positive influence. That's being a responsible person.
I believe sportsmanship is a mutual admiration and respect for your fellow competitors. We all go through a lot to reach the point where we compete against one another. It's important to realize that. So once we're finally on the field or on the court or on the starting block, we look at each other as fellow human beings and not just competitors. Being able to recognize the hard work that other athletes are putting in creates a more positive and inclusive environment.
Comprehensive learning is being able to adapt to experiences and apply the things that I learned. Being an athlete and juggling academics helped me grow as a person, and things that I've learned, I was able to apply it in another field, putting them into everyday life. Developing comprehensive learning helped me prioritize certain things to make sure I get to where I want to be.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris, the subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
And welcome back inside Edward T. Berry Ice Rink. Andrew Bluestein, Matt Meisenbacher here with you as we go over tonight's starting goaltenders. First for the visiting Skidmore Thoroughbreds, it's going to be the sophomore Blaine Moore, coming in out of Albany, New York. Just his 7th appearance on the season, a 3-3-0 record, a 2.29 goals against average, and a .927 save percentage. For the Beacons, it'll be the senior out of Woburn, Mass, Sam Best, coming in with an 8-8-0 record, a 2.56 goals against average, and a .911 save percentage. Well, we're just about to get ready for puck drop. It'll be Mason Beecher and Evan Googans on the faceoff. Beecher able to win it. Gets it back to D to Danny Magnuson. Now it's center ice. Nick Cozy with it, moves it across. That one will be chipped in. Pat Keegan will back to fetch. Tied up in the far corner. Whacking away at it comes to Dakota Kincannon, who's playing on the top line to start things off here tonight. Evan Googans takes a whack at it, gives it away. A chance perhaps for Cozy, but it goes behind him. Nice hit there by Clifton to knock him off the puck as it comes back to center. Kincannon disrupts that pass for Magnuson. He's able to get it across for Monk, who moves it up. Now bringing it in is Nick Cozy. Try to take it around, but Pat Keegan sticks that one away. Now Grady Friedman looks to move it ahead over the stick of Mike Manzo and sent right back in. But it goes right to Pat Keegan. He'll take it out of his own end and try to chip it into the thoroughbred zone, but it goes up and out of play. Quick whistle here.
Yeah, Beacons are fortunate. There's a little bit of a 2-on-1 there that you mentioned, the bad pass. If that pass connects, you wonder, that would have been a tough task for Best, his first shot of the night. But the pass was misdirected, and Beacons were fortunate to escape with no foul.
So the face-off back to center, top line out there for the thoroughbreds. Everett Wardle wins the face-off. That one chipped in. No icing. DeLuzio there to get it. He'll reverse it for Davis Browning. Davis Browning, we've been told, is playing through an injury. We're not going to tell you exactly what it is, but this Beacon team is a little beat up here tonight as Browning able to stay with it as it goes in the zone. Back to center, though. Grady Friedman back there. We'll move it over for DeLuzio. DeLuzio looking for Ty Matthews, and that one deflects up and out of play.
Scored his first collegiate goal last weekend, which I'm sure was a big weight lifted off his shoulders. You're getting a little bit, you're running out of games, right? You got to get that goal. I had a player when I played, Andrew Crawford, who didn't score his first. It was a game winner against Norwich when he got his first. He'll still tell you about it if you ask. But always nice to make sure you get that taken care of. And as you mentioned, playing with an injury on top of it.
Davis Browning, a senior out of Dallas, Texas. As that one goes the outside. We've had 3 center ice faceoffs so far in the first 2 minutes of this game. You don't see that very often without a goal being scored. As now Andy Walker with it. He'll move it in the middle for Alex Duncan. He'll flip it in on goal, sticked away by Blaine Moore. Now on the near side with it. In the corner, Walker tries to center it, hits a stick, and goes back all the way down the ice. No icing because of the deflection. Ryan Bogan will get it behind his own net. Try to move it over for Krapinski. He'll backhand it for Andy Walker. Puck explodes off his stick, gets sent right back in. Bogan with it, tries to move it ahead for Alex Duncan on the far boards. That one, though, whacked aside. Picked up by Zach Linderworth. Now moved over in the far side, it's Zach Frisk. That one tried to get shipped in, but Frisk will send it in from out top. Puck takes a wacky bounce off the kick blade. Beacons control, Owen Bordeaux moves it back for Krapinski, and the Beacons will change up.
Yeah, we've got a problem already. Alex Duncan, shoulder, this puck's out of play, almost hits assistant coach Stephen Bucco, but already we talked about the injuries for this Beacons team, and lo and behold, now we got Alex Duncan, the sophomore, being looked at with the training staff. He was holding his shoulder. You could tell immediately as soon as he got to the bench, he went right over to the training staff, which is not good. When a player knows they need attention right away, we'll keep an eye on it.
So that's not good for the Beacons, as we'll keep an eye on that. That one chipped ahead by Keegan, getting a piece of his Carabelli. Here comes Bankowskis, throws it towards goal, and a save by Moore. Rebound comes all the way out to the far side, as back the other way. And nice job by Pat Keegan stepping in front of that. Keegan gets hauled down, taking it towards the net, and a big collision as the net comes off and everybody goes flying. 17:05 to go, opening period.
Yeah, we're just going to roll it back camera until we get this one.
And we're having some technical issues with our cameras, so bear with us momentarily.
The behind the scenes of what goes on. If people only knew how much manpower goes into it.
A lot of moving parts.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Productions.
We usually get it figured out, though. It's a good A+ team. Best in the league.
So bear with us momentarily. The faceoff will be in the Skidmore end to the right of Blaine Moore. It'll be Jacob Franchek on the faceoff with Dakota Kincannon, who wins it. That shot by Guggens off the faceoff, blocked it away by Moore.
Yeah, that's a good save there off the draw.
Now puck goes back in on Moore. He comes out of his crease to freeze it with 16:54 to go, opening period.
Love that face-off play when you've got a winger who moves around the top of the key, picks up the center wins it back, and that wing will just come across, pick it up, and there's no way to cover that defensively off a face-off, so you basically get a free shot on goal, and you saw there a good stop by Moore on the blocker side.
Everett Wardle able to win that draw as down the ice comes Skidmore, and a step ahead of the play was Connor Wood, so it's offside. He'll have to tag up. Davis Browning cross ice for Dakota Kincannon. He tries to return it, but getting in the way of that opportunity was Caden Patrick, leading scorer for the Thoroughbreds. As Guggens now swoops in and takes it by his own goal. Guggens able to beat his man, takes it through center ice. Guggens with speed to the outside, throws it towards goal, sticked away. Guggens able to find it though. Tries to center it for Krapinski. A shot and a save by Moore. Puck goes to the near corner, and Krapinski with a big hit there in the corner. That's his specialty.
Yeah, and a good look by Guggens to find him across. He was motoring in zone, and Krapinski was dropping down looking for the puck. Guggens found him for a good shot on goal. Moore with another save.
Being battled for in the far corner. Ty Matthews in there as Mason Beecher comes away with it. Has it behind his own net. Backhands it over on the wing. And giveaway, and we're going to have, it's just played with a high stick, so the faceoff will come back out into the neutral zone.
Yeah, and that's difficult because I think Manzo knew if he was able to avoid the high stick there, he was all alone in the high slot. He was probably going to get a scoring opportunity, but I agree with the referees. I thought the stick was a little high.
Mike Manzo able to win that draw. That one sent in by Krapinski off the end boards. Blaine Moore will leave it off for his defenseman, Will Down Kenny. Comes up top, Ryan Bogan fakes the shot. Gets it over for Krapinski, stays in. Getting away in that shot, though, is Ryan Waltman. Or rather, that was Will Dow Kenny. Now, Ty Matthews tries to work it, but it gets chipped back to center. Ryan Bogan now in a race with the puck with Zach Linderworth. Bogan able to get there first. Matthews, though, gives it away. A chance in front. Backdoor pass just goes under the stick of Linderworth at the far post.
Can't have a turnover there.
And another turnover. And a save by Sam Best. A little sloppy there from the Beacons in their own end.
Yeah, 2 in a row. It's just bad spots to have a turnover. It's going to happen throughout the game, but you can't have one at the top of your zone, and you can't want to have it at the bottom of your zone.
Andy Walker now with speed. Runs into Devin Musio. As that one goes all the way around, Pat Keegan from up top throws it towards goal, goes wide. Owen Bordeaux gets there first, tries to wheel it into the corner, but it goes right to Devin Musio. That one chipped back out to center, past Ryan Rowland. No icing as Pat Keegan will go and retrieve it. He'll bank it off the boards, but miscommunication as that goes right to Everett Wardle. Now the puck over on the far side, swooping in is Pat Keegan. He'll try to chip it out, but a nice play by Freddie Elias at the line to keep it in. Andy Walker, though, now moves it ahead to the neutral zone. Coming off the bench was Kevin Urquhart, but Owen Bordeaux now back the other way in the Skidmore end. That one chipped to the far side. As that one sent back to center just over the glove of Urquhart. As a big hit in the neutral zone as taking that one was Patrick McCoy as he went hard to the boards right in front of the Beacons bench. Another big collision there on the far side. Physical game early on here. Now a chance up top there on Matthew Monk, but they're going to say he came out of the zone. So 13:50 to go, opening period, face off in the neutral zone.
Well, just to update folks at home, Alex Duncan, I don't think he's going to return to this hockey game. The equipment's off. He's got a major ice bag on his shoulder. It seems to be sagging a little bit. And just based on the coaching staff and their communications with what I'm seeing with the training staff right now, I don't think we're going to see him the rest of the game. So Beacon's already down a forward and another injury to add to the list.
So that means Patrick McCoy is going to have to step up here and play some minutes as the extra skater in tonight's lineup. So not good news for the Beacons, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, already battling a bunch of injuries as Carabelli tries to chip that ahead. Jacob Banks now in the official circle will send it in. That one goes behind the net. Getting there is Danny Magnuson. They'll leave it off for Matthew Monk. Now through the middle, nice play though by Evan Guggens to disrupt that exit chance. Guggens throwing it towards the goal, gets sticked away, and we're going to have a whistle here because the net came off and the face-off will come out, assuming because Skidmore knocked it off.
Still early in this game, but really like what I've seen from Guggens. We've mentioned his name a lot. He seems to have that fifth gear in terms of, he's not known really mostly for his shot, not necessarily for his skating, but seems to be motoring around the ice here tonight. He's picked up a few different plays. He's tried to, already with a couple shots on goal, generated some offense. Really like what I've seen here from 9.
So Guggens out there again, the top line center. On the face-off of Mason Beecher, Beacons control. Ryan Bogan receives the pass from Krapinski. He'll send it in, blockered away by Blaine Moore to the corner. Dakota Kincannon gets there, tries to move it for Guggens. Guggens looked to get it towards the net, but he was heckled on the back check. As moving it ahead now is Nick Cozy. Now stick behind the net is Mason Beecher with it. He'll move it over, back for Cozy. Now up top at the point. Will Dow Kenny throws it towards goal, sticked away by Sam Best.
I don't know if he saw it.
That one throw it towards goal just wide, and it goes to the far side off the boards back to center. Lucio moves it over for Dow Kenny. Quickly ahead for Jaden York. Tried to center it through the middle, but Corey Clifton got in the way of that. Clifton stays with it. Sends it to the far side looking for Manzo, but it's chipped back the other way by Musio. Now Mason Beecher will enter. Beecher throws it towards the goal and hits something and goes up and out of play into the netting.
Yeah, I don't know. That shot from the point, there was a lot of traffic in front, and Best was already down. I don't know if he got a complete read on it. He obviously made the stop. There was a little bit of room over the pad there, and like I said, I just didn't see from this vantage point if he got a clean read on that puck. So that's a tough save. Anytime a goaltender is partially screened, you're asking a lot to come up with a save, and you really just got to trust your angle there. I think Best did just that. Was able to get that puck into the corner.
Ryan Rowland tries to headman it up. He'll send it in around the net. Ty Matthews tries to get there. Beating him was Freddie Elias. Beacons try to stay with it, though. Ty Matthews gets canceled out again by Elias. Moving it over was Wardle. That one sent back to center. A chance for Connor Wood. But a nice play by Pat Keegan, getting back on defense and chipping it out of play.
You know, I love what he did there is don't go to the stick check right away, because one of two things is going to happen is if you miss, you're risking a tripping call, and if you miss really bad, it's a breakaway. He allowed the lane to open up, and then at the last second, he's so tall at 6'5", came across with the stick. The forward at that point thinks he's have an angle, so he eases up a little bit. Maybe he doesn't protect the puck as much as he would otherwise. And a nice play by Keegan not only to deflect that puck, but to get out of play and get a change.
Pat Keegan, the sophomore out of Maynard, Mass. As the face-off to the right of Sam Best. Thomas Finnick able to win that draw. Back to Magnuson. His shot goes wide. Now trying to center it there was Zach Frisk, but the Beacons control. And they can't get it out as it's sent back in. DeLuzio will have to chase it down in the near corner. DeLuzio tried to maneuver it, but Zach Frisk intercepts that. Gets it up to the point for Magnuson. Back to Frisk. Frisk tries to throw it towards goal, but DeLuzio gets a piece of it up and out of play with 11:25 to go first period.
And this is something the Beacons have done well for most of the season, is defensively blocking shots, being in the lanes, the shooting lanes. And we've already seen a couple times here in the first period these pucks deflecting nowhere near the goal, right? That's a full commitment in your D zone to blocking and making sure that when that shot's taken, we've got people in the way. It's not going to get through to our goaltender.
That one's sent back in by Magnuson, but goes right to Michael Krapinski. He'll move it across for Ryan Bogan, who has it now. He'll flip it in. That one goes in on Moore. He'll stick it to Magnuson, who moves it ahead. That one chipped in by Zach Frisk. Ryan Bogan will get there first. Now Krapinski with it. He'll move it for Jacob Banks. But swooping in there was Jaden York. That shot from the point goes just wide. That one chipped in down low. Zach Frisk still out there. Moving it up top for Monk. Monk moving it over for Magnuson. His shot thrown towards goal and a save by Best, and the rebound popped up in the air.
I think it was redirected.
Monk moving it over for Magnuson again. Tries to move it at the top of the faceoff top, and a nice job by Ryan Bogan as Gino Carabelli chips it ahead back in the Skidmore zone, but Danny Magnuson will control. Magnuson looking ahead. Tries to hit his man Urquhart, who was stepped into in a big hit by Ryan Rowland in the neutral zone. Dakota Kincannon tried to weave it through to Guggens. Kincannon able to find the loose puck. Now Clifton tried to move it ahead, but he fanned on the pass, and it's sent into the Beacon zone. Pat Keegan now with it. Nice pass to Dakota Kincannon on the far wing. Kincannon through center, tries to move it for Clifton. Clifton able to find it. Now Pat Keegan through center. He'll bring it in. Keegan throwing it towards goal, and that was sticked away on the deflection by Will Dow-Kenny. Clifton trying to chip it down low, but back the other way. Devin Musio moves it over to the far side. Now a centering pass for Jacob Franchek. That moved to the near side. Evan Guggens gets there first. He'll flip it ahead for Clifton, who whacks it as far as center, and it goes right to Devin Musio. Musio back with it. Tries to move it in the middle for Connor Wood. Goes off his skate behind him, and that one goes in on Sam Best. He'll leave it off for Pat Keegan. Moves it over for Davis Browning. Now Patrick McCoy with it, or rather Mike Manzo. Brady Friedman, a nice curl and drag move, tried to center it, and it goes to the far side, and he took a hit after that. Ty Matthews now wheels it in front of the net. That one tipped and comes out just wide on the near side and back to center. That one goes off Connor Wood's leg. Mike Manzo trying to muscle his way ahead, but stepping on that puck is Freddie Elias. Elias moves it ahead for Everett Wardle, who'll bring it in. Wardle tries to backhand it. That one goes off the blocker of Sam Best, now behind the net. Krapinski tied up with Wardle. There's now a bunch of other players joining the scrum. Krapinski trying to kick it ahead. Coming out with it is Ty Matthews, who hits Owen Bordeaux on the near side. Bordeaux tried to move it for Andy Walker, goes under his stick. Now back the other way. Nick Cozy on his own as Skidmore was making a change behind the play. That one sent by Bogan all the way down the ice. And that is an icing, and that was close as it looked like Owen Bordeaux was going to get there first.
Yeah, you know what? If I'm the coaching staff, I want an explanation here.
And Belial on the bench is asking for one, as you just said, Mizey.
Yeah, Bordeaux was right there. And I know it's supposed to the referee's discretionary and those types of calls, but Bordeaux looked like he was going to win that race. That's just I guess a 50-50 call. Tough, because now you got an in-zone draw here with a tie. This is going to be a long shift here if they lose the draw, and they do.
Up top, a shot from Monk gets blocked by Bordeaux. Comes back to Monk. He'll backhand it in the near side around the kick blade. Goes to the far corner. Ryan Bogan chips it ahead. McCoy tries to chip it out, but it's kept in by Danny Magnuson. Owen Bordeaux, though, tries to find the loose puck. Gets run into by Jaden York in the corner. York able to move it for Monk up top. Monk back to York on the near side boards. York tries to move it down low. He's able to get it there. A wraparound attempt there by Nick Cozy, but Sam Best was able to get there. Skidmore able to stay with it. A collision there between Bordeaux and York, and that one chipped up and out of play. A lot of pucks chipped out of play here in this first period.
I was going to say, every time I feel like the tempo is starting to gain some speed and momentum, we get a face off. The puck's out of play, or the goaltenders. We haven't really hit our stride, I don't think, yet in this hockey game. It seems like it wants to, though.
Had some zone time, not too much time in the neutral zone early on, but as you just mentioned, a lot of stoppages as Skidmore controls that shot from the point, is smothered and held by Sam Best. And Matthew Monk putting that one on goal.
One of the things to take note of that Skidmore does well is they're going to rotate all three forwards in the offensive zone. Just pay attention. They don't just keep their wingers to the outside and their center in the middle. Those guys will rotate and transition as the puck moves throughout the zone. That's something to key in on. It makes things very difficult from a D-zone perspective, because when you have constant motion like that, your head has to constantly, where's the puck and where's my player? You're constantly looking. It's hard to do, but if you can do it effectively, it really creates a lot of havoc for the defense.
Thoroughbreds control. Matthew Monk will bring it in. He leaves it off for Thomas Finnick. Now back down low for Monk. Centering pass got sticked away by Best, and it was sitting in the crease momentarily. But back the other way, Gino Carabelli has Jacob Banks. Carabelli will pull up, and he'll lose the puck as swooping in was Zach Frisk. Jacob Banks gets it back, though, in the corner. Moves it down low for Bankowskis, who tried to center it. He hit the stick of Banks, but he wasn't able to stay with it. As now back the other way, Zach Linderworth will chip it in and head off for a change. Pat Keegan gets there first. Both teams changing up as that one flipped all the way back. And no icing, as getting a piece of it was Musio. Now Clifton rides him to the corner. Guggens tries to chip it up to the point, but Davis Browning, who's coming off the bench, couldn't get there in time. Deluzio now sends it in. Out to play it is Blaine Moore. He'll leave it off for Will Dalkenny. But that one's picked off by Corey Clifton and sent back in. Goes to the far side. Whacked ahead. Being battled for right in front of the Skidmore bench. And Cannon sticking in there. Puck still loose. Now finally comes out. Devin Musio will move it over to the far side, or the near side. That one chipped ahead, but Evan Guggen sends it back the other way. And it gets deflected and back into the Beacon's end. Nick Deluzio through the middle. Tries to hit Kincannon. Puck explodes off his stick. As that one moved the other way. Nick Cozy will bring it in. Sticked away, though, by Krapinski. Now Friedman with it. Friedman will move it over for Guggens. Guggens will just send it in. That one hits a stick, goes behind the net. Ty Matthews able to win that battle. Moves it over for Grady Friedman. Now Krapinski up top. His shot gets blocked. Goes back to center. Ryan Bogan now with it. Back to Krapinski. Krapinski will flip it in. He's getting there first is Steven Perez. Now Freddie Elias moves to the near side. Krapinski there, though. His shot gets blocked away by Moore, as Bogan couldn't handle that rebound back to center.
That's a pretty good save there by Moore. As you mentioned, he's all alone in front there. Two Beacons on the doorstep as well.
That one flipped in by Ryan Bogan in on Blaine Moore, who will pat it ahead. As now Jaden York with speed through the neutral zone. Try to move it over for Kevin Urquhart, too far ahead of him, and Urquhart will bring it in offside as Jaden York was already in the zone with 5:10 to go in this opening period.
And you can see both these teams somewhat evenly matched. We've seen both teams with some chances offensively. There's been some hits. And you can see there's really no standout yet this far in the hockey game where one line or few players are dominating. It seems like both teams are really right there with each other, and that's the way it's been for the majority of this season. As you can tell, these teams battling for a position in the conference with tonight and tomorrow left to figure out where the final standings will be.
That shot from the point gets blocked away by Best. Danny Magnuson putting that towards goal. Comes back to center for Magnuson. We'll move it across for Jacob Franchek. But that one gets pushed back to center. No, they say it stayed in. Puck shot goes wide as Owen Bordeaux now with it. Spins away. Pat Keegan now will bring it out of his own end. Keegan, the defenseman, brings it in as Andy Walker just a step ahead of the play offside. So the face-off will be in the neutral zone with 4:31 to go.
Yeah, I don't think he expected Keegan to keep possession of that puck. I thought he was either going to pass or try to dump that in, and when Keegan made one extra move at the blue line, just like you said, Walker was already in the zone. Pretty easy call for the linesman. Thomas Finnick, Koye Bankowskis on the face-off. Beacon's able to control. Deluzio sends it in.
Puck rides around the kick play. That one chipped back to center by Devin Musio. Back to get it is Nick DeLuzio. DeLuzio moves it over. Boye Bankowskis brings it through center. He'll chip it in and chase. The speedy Bankowskis able to get there first, but Musio able to cancel him out and win the puck. Carabelli now jamming in there. That one chipped back to center, and this one will go all the way down the ice for an icing with 3:59. I was going to say 4 minutes even, but they let an extra second tick off there.
Important possession here. Important face-off for the Beacons. They've a couple shifts now. They've been in the offensive zone. They're pressuring, and you really want to win this draw here. Late in the first period, if you can find one, obviously that's a great way to go into the locker room after one. This is a very important face-off here. It looks like Concannon's going to take it.
It'll be him and Thomas Finnick on the face-off. Concannon able to win it. Ryan Bogan up top. His shot thrown towards goal goes wide. Now back the other way. Zach Frisk tries to chip it through center. Goes to Guggens. That one whacked at by Ryan Bogan. And the Beacons will get it back to center. Skidmore controls though. Brought right back in by Will Dowkenny. Krapinski steps in front of him. Dowkenny pushes him up against the boards, but it gets chipped back to center. Concannon tries to take a whack at it, but Skidmore controls again. Now on the far side, Zach Frisk walks in and shot. That one goes just wide. May have hit something. Skidmore tries to stay with it. Krapinski gets in the way of that pass as the puck's tied up in the near side corner. Guggens now digging in. Ryan Bogan joining the scrum. Comes out loose as Guggens will take it out of his own end. Now up to center. He'll chip it in as the Beacons will get a partial change. That one reversed by Freddie Elias. As Skidmore will move it ahead, Caden Patrick sends it in. Pat Keegan tried to get there as he got tied up by Connor Wood against the boards. That shot from Elias goes just wide from the point.
A few times now Skidmore's had some opportunities. They've missed the net. I've counted at least 4, maybe 5 opportunities they've had to get a shot on goal. They might be trying to be a little bit too fine with where they're putting these pucks.
Beacons right now out shooting Skidmore 6-3, but as Tomaisi just said, I think Skidmore's attempted more shots as that one sent behind the net, no icing. Ty Matthews there first. Mason Beecher though controls. So he'll move it on the near wing for Jaden York. Nick Hosey now with it. He'll chip it in behind Pat Keegan. Keegan able to outmuscle him. Keegan gets there first. One hands it for Ryan Rowland who moves it ahead. Mike Manzo now with it. Back to Ryan Rowland. Manzo enters the zone, but he got stonewalled there by Magnuson and goes back to center. Owen Bordeaux now with it. Bordeaux to the far side, backhands it in past Matthew Monk. And a big hit there by Bordeaux as he sent Matthew Monk to the ice. That pass dangerously through the middle, got sticked away by DeLuzio as McCoy will send it back into the Skidmore end. Matthew Monk there first. Will set up shop behind his own net, looking for options up ice. Monk moves it for Zach Frisk, who chips it to center. Linderworth back to Frisk, who tried to move it in, but Andy Walker was there. Held backhand to the head. Under a minute 30 to go in this first period. That one whacked at by Musio to the far side, back in the Beacon zone. As they control, Bordeaux with a big hit there. As Linderworth is on the front end of that. And a nice job by Owen Bordeaux, persistent, and he'll chip it back in as the Beacons will get a full change.
Yeah, they needed it too. That was a long shift.
Out through the middle. Now Kenny will chip it in. Krapinski looks to get there first. He'll whack it over for Bogan, who gets a stick on it. Moving it ahead for Jacob Banks. Banks with speed through the neutral zone. Tries to chip it in. Bankowskis, though, ahead of the play offside. Beacons have to tag up. Thomas Finnick now with it. Gets his pocket picked by Krapinski, who chips it in. Krapinski now in the corner. Under a minute to go. Centering pass, and they score! Boye Bankowskis finds a loose puck on the doorstep, and the Beacons strike first. Under a minute to go in this first period.
That's just all hard work. That's all that is. That's not anything more than hard work, folks. You've got two players in Krapinski and Bankowskis just refusing to get out muscled. Started with Krapinski, and he goes behind the net. He gets possession of the puck. Was able, just kind of throws it. I think he saw Bankowskis. I don't think he was trying to get that directly to him. I think he was just putting it into an area where he knew maybe Bankowskis can try to tuck this home, and sure enough, I think it was the third or fourth attempt, Bankowskis was just banging away at it and found a hole. And a massive goal for the Beacons now with under a minute to play and a 1-0 lead.
So the sophomore from Coventry, Rhode Island, grabs his 4th of the year off a hustle play, and that's his MO. A chance right back the other way for Skidmore, trying to maneuver to the front of the net there was Caden Patrick, but he couldn't tuck it home. That one chipped up in the air as Elias tries to move it down low. Final 20 seconds now. Corey Clifton without his stick as he gave it to Sam Best, who lost his. Devin Googans now through center ice in the final 10 seconds. Googans tries to cut to the middle, almost beat his man there, Perez, but it was whacked away. As the final seconds ticking off the clock, that one sent in on Best, and that'll do it for the first period, but the Beacons able to grab a goal with about 45 seconds to go in that first period, as we'll try to get a replay here.
Yeah, let's sneak it in. Just take a look. Krupinski, first of all, winning that battle, and then you can see there, throwing it to the front of the net. We got a little bit of a glitch there, but throws it to the front of the net, and again, you could tell, I don't think he was looking specifically. This will show it. I don't think he's looking. He knows Bankowskis is there somewhere, and I'll tell you what, Bankowskis beats 2 guys, and then if you count the goaltender, it's 3. To just continue at least 2 wipes at it to try and tuck it home. And a nice individual one more time. Take a look, Krupinski right there, and then Bankowskis, just 2 hands on that stick. He gets hit and is able to fight. Pucks have a way of just finding holes, folks, and that's why I think for this team it's so important. Plays like this are how they're going to score. They just don't have enough skilled guys offensively to try and make perfect plays. If they're going to be successful, it's plays like that that are going to generate some offense for this team. So now it looked like it was going to be 0-0. I was getting ready to tell the folks at home how even a first period that was, and both teams evenly matched, and that's still true, but a big goal for the Beacons late in the first period to give themselves a 1-0 lead.
So Corey Bankowskis able to knock that home. There are 3 guys in the area as well. But that'll wrap up our first period action here, as the Beacons will head to the room with a 1-0 lead over Skidmore. And we'll be back to go over the first period stats and scoring summary. Andrew Bluestein, Matt Meisenbacher here with you. We'll be right back on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that, and it's all about growing as a person.
My coaches have helped me with figuring out who I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school, it's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
I'm the first undergraduate alumnus to lead this university. I'm very proud of that. I was literally able to transform my life because of the University of Massachusetts, and I want that for every single student that walks through the door.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
Cheer for the stumbles.
that he should have had that. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
The University of Massachusetts Boston, with its scenic oceanfront campus, easily accessible to downtown Boston, is recognized as a model of excellence for urban public universities. 16 NCAA Division III sports are part of the more than 100 student organizations that create an engaging campus life in America's biggest and best college town. UMass Boston, Boston's urban public research university for the 21st century.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Moving from Turkey, it was a rough journey for me because when you don't really speak the language that well and when you don't really fit in the crowd, it's very easy to disappear. But I decided not to give up, and UMass helped me.
UMass Boston was my first choice because when I came to the campus, I saw that there was a lot of diversity, there's a lot of people. Here there is a lot of international students, so it's really cool to meet people from different countries, different parts of the world. I'm Julia Murphy, I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
I'm Olivia Murphy, I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
We're sisters.
We're sisters.
I play volleyball and she plays basketball. Here they have a freshman success community. So each major has their own community that you can join as a freshman, and you take classes with them, you do study groups with them. So it was really helpful getting to know people in your major right away.
So in health exercise sciences, we have an internship at the end, so it's so much better to have an advisor helping you out, telling you which classes to choose.
And welcome back here inside Edward T. Berry Ice Rink. UMass Boston leading Skidmore College after one period, 1-0. Andrew Bluestein, Matt Meisenbacher here with you as we'll go over our first period scoring summary. As the only goal coming from Koye Bankowskis at 19:18 of the first period. Michael Krapinski grabbing the assist on that. And that is Bankowskis' fourth goal of the season. And that's all we got in the first period as we now take a look at our first period stats. As the Beacons out shooting Skidmore 9-6. 6 saves for Sam Best, 7 for Blaine Moore. Neither goaltender really tested too much. There was a few, good chances, not a lot of high danger scoring chances though.
No, I think Skidmore had, the better chances, better scoring opportunities in the period. They had a couple from the low slot that I think had they hit the net would have tested Best, but they missed the net too many times, I think, in that first period. That's something that coaching staff is going to have to address, is when we get an opportunity here, we're a high-scoring team, about 3.5 goals per game. We've got to make sure we're not trying to be too fine with the puck. Let's just get this on net. And I think if you're the Beacons, the one thing on that goal, you take a look at what Bankowski's, with 2 guys in front, you're guaranteed you're going to get hit. And you can even see that as he was scoring, he was basically falling down. But knowing that going into the blue paint or around the blue paint, knowing you're going to get hit, especially in that scenario, and still having the strength to focus on the puck, be able to continue to whack at it, it finds a hole. Just a great individual effort there. And the pass by Krapinski to even put it into the area, I think a great effort by those 2 guys to give themselves, or their team rather, a lead. So those would be the highlights for me. I think good individual effort. Beacons also got to do a little bit better in the neutral zone. I thought Skidmore did a good job clogging the neutral zone, limiting what the Beacons were able to do. You saw a few opportunities there where the Beacons didn't really have a passing option. They had to basically dump was the only option they had. So just a few minor things, but overall, I think a pretty even period.
And face-offs, Beacons leading 11-8, and we haven't had any penalties called yet. And this one, Mizey, any final thoughts here before we wrap up our second intermission coverage here?
Yeah, I'll be curious what they do with the Duncan injury, what the lines look like. The coaching staff now in the intermission has a chance to kind of review. The easiest thing to do would be to move McCoy in if he can play the left side. Just move him into that line so you don't have to jumble the rest. But anything's. I mean, Coach Blyle moves the lines all the time, so I would think he'll probably keep the top two lines the same, but I'll be curious to see if the third and fourth line move around at all.
This is the first intermission. I said second intermission mistakenly, but that'll wrap up our first intermission coverage as, once again, the UMass Boston Beacons leading the Skidmore College Thoroughbreds 1-0 after one period. We'll be back for second period action. Andrew Bluestein, Matt Meisenbacher here with you on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
People at UMass Boston, they're here because they know they can have an impact, not just on research, but on people, on their students.
This is just the starting point. It only has potential to grow, and it has a big potential to grow up.
You're really having a direct impact on people's lives, and you can see that now, and you can see that years from now.
So I think it's becoming like the place that people want to go.
What UMass Boston is able to offer to its young people certainly stands out to that mission that was set right out in the beginning. It's something UMass Boston should be and can be very proud about.
Proportion to me is the lived experience of our Division III student athletes. They balance life from an academic perspective and the rigors of competing at a high level, bonding with teammates and building lifelong friendships. But they also are involved in their communities. They work jobs and internships and volunteer. They've learned to be resilient. Diverse experiences are setting them up for the future.
Passion's love. Passion is love for what you do. Because I think when you face challenges, it comes down to how much you want it and how much you love it. Passion is what keeps you going forward. Seeing so many people that were like-minded and so hardworking in their sport and academics, being surrounded by like-minded people makes you want to be more passionate. I think it pushes you to a different level that maybe you didn't think you had. And you can do the best of both worlds and love all of it.
Proportion to me is the lived experience of our Division III student athletes. They balance life from an academic perspective and the rigors of competing at a high level, bonding with teammates and building lifelong friendships. But they also are involved in their communities. They work jobs and internships and volunteer. They've learned to be resilient. Diverse experiences are setting them up for the future.
Passion's love.
The 5-campus UMass system is the university that educates the workforce of Massachusetts. We recognize that we are truly here for a reason, and that recognition inspires us and drives us every single day.
Responsibility is being accountable for your words and actions, first and foremost. It also is an obligation to be a positive influence in the communities around you. Being in a D3 program, you're going to have lots of different opportunities. You're not just an athlete, you're also involved in student life. Your academics are extremely important. We give a lot of our student athletes responsibilities right from the start by giving them leadership opportunities, by having them engage in the community, be a positive influence. That's being a responsible person.
I believe sportsmanship is a mutual admiration and respect for your fellow competitors. We all go through a lot to reach the point where we compete against one another. It's important to realize that. So once we're finally on the field or on the court or on the starting block, we look at each other as fellow human beings and not just competitors. Being able to recognize the hard work that other athletes are putting in creates a more positive and inclusive environment.
Comprehensive learning is being able to adapt to experiences and apply the things that I learned. Being an athlete and juggling academics helped me grow as a person, and things that I've learned, I was able to apply it in another field, putting them into everyday life. Developing comprehensive learning helped me prioritize certain things to make sure I get to where I want to be.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris, the subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, then I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
And we're back here inside Edwards Berry Ice Rink. Andrew Bluestein, Matt Meisenbacher here with you. As the Beacons leading the Thoroughbreds 1-0 after one period, as we're about to start our second period here. Meisey, any final thoughts before we get going here?
Yeah, I want to see the Beacons continue to do what they did, and the way they scored that goal was by getting pucks deep. I saw a few times in that first period where they pulled up and they were trying to enter the zone with speed, pull up, maybe hit the D, and it's just not how this team is successful. I think what you saw in that goal is what we need more of if they're going to win this game, getting pucks deep into the zone, trying to get toward the front of the net, and generating some offense. That way, if you're Skidmore, you had some opportunities there in that period and you missed. So I think they've got to focus, I would think, in the first 5-10 minutes here, be getting more shots that actually hit the goaltender, forcing Best to come up with some saves.
We're underway for second period action as Mason Beecher able to win that face-off. That one chipped ahead, deflected, so no icing. As Beecher got there first, he'll stick it over. As that one goes to the far side, Ryan Rowland chips it ahead for Corey Clifton, explodes off Guggen's stick, stays in the zone. Nice play though by Clifton, and I'm going to say a hand pass, so the face-off will come back in to the Beacon zone. I thought he got his stick on it after he did,
yeah,
but
it was close.
The officials will disagree as the face-off to the right of Sam Best. So Guggens and now Everett Wardle, top line out there for Skidmore. As that one won by Wardle, but it goes all the way back to center. Danny Magnuson tries to move it ahead. That one chipped in, so no icing. Pat Keegan first on it. Tried to chip it ahead for Dakota Kincannon, but getting in the way there was Wardle. Wardle will play it around. All the way to the point is Danny Magnuson on the far side. Will throw it wide. Now Everett Wardle in the corner gets stapled by Pat Keegan. Centered as that puck deflects off of Guggens, can't get it out. Magnuson tries to throw it towards the goal, but that one gloved down by Ryan Rowland. He'll move it ahead. Dakota Kincannon past center ice. Will throw it in on Blaine Moore. He'll glove it and then move it aside for Matthew Monk. As that puck goes back to center. Grady Friedman for DeLuzio, who moves it ahead. Ty Matthews will flip it in. That one bounces up against the end boards. Grady Friedman gets there first. Matthews tries to wheel it. Friedman stays with it. Still loose in front. Manzo throws it towards goal and somehow would not go.
That's unfortunate too. They had pressure and Manzo just a miscommunication there with Browning on D. They still have possession.
That one thrown right towards the goal. Taking a whack at it was Matthews with an open goal, but he couldn't get enough on it. That one thrown from the point by DeLuzio, sticked away by Moore. That one whacked off the glass, back to center by Matthew Monk. But Manzo will get it right back at center ice. Manzo, the cross-ice pass for Davis Browning. Browning, shot and a pad save by Moore. And the rebound and a clear attempt comes back to center, so Ty Matthews couldn't play it. Now Zach Linderworth moves it over for Jaden York. Now a shot from the far side, still loose, saved by Best. Puck still loose at the top of the crease, whacked at, and Sam Best able to find it, and he snow angels to cover it.
Well, he came up with some good saves, but he's got to do better on that first shot with that rebound. There's no way that puck can hit you in the chest and allow that to squirt back out. He had to come up with 2 or 3 more saves on top of that. I think if he corrals that first one, it's really no harm. But he had to come up with some big ones there. He's able to do it. Best who we traditionally see with some really strong rebound control there. Let that one slip away.
The face-off will be to the right of Best. Thomas Fiddick, Andy Walker. Andy Walker wins the face-off. Krapinski moves it over for Ryan Bogan. Ahead now for Patrick McCoy. That one disrupted in the neutral zone, but Andy Walker able to stay with it, and he'll wheel it all the way into the Skidmore end. Puck goes around the kick plate to the far side. Krapinski throws one towards goal that goes wide. Now back to center. Zach Frisk will enter the Beacon zone. Leaves it off for Zach Linderworth. Throws it towards the middle. Big collision behind the play as a body goes flying into the Beacon's net. It was Zach Frisk, and the net goes off, so the face-off, I believe, will stay in the Beacon zone because he was sent in to the net by a Beacon.
Yeah, Beacons won't be able to change either. So a little bit of an opportunity here. It's still early in the period, so I'm sure these players are fresh. I wouldn't worry too much about any type of conditioning issue or tired player here, but still the Thoroughbreds with an opportunity here with this in-zone draw.
Mason Beecher, Andy Walker on the draw. Beecher able to win it. That's back for up top for Will Kenny. He'll maneuver it around the kick blade that goes to the far side. Nick Cozy with it. Leaves it off for Jaden York. Jaden York maneuvering towards the top of the face-off circle. That shot gets deflected just wide from the point. Sent back down low. Jaden York got there first, but it bounces away from him. Now Ryan Bogan with it. Tries to headman it out of his own end. He's able to get it through center and chip it in. Sent right back the other way, though. Jaden York had trouble with it at first. Nick Cozy now has Owen Bordeaux riding him on the back check. And I believe Owen Bordeaux is going to get called here for a hooking penalty.
Yeah, pretty simple call there. And I think this is the result of just a long shift. We're in the second period here. It's hard to change. You've got to try and do your best when you get an opportunity. Beacons really didn't have one. They got a partial change there. But Bordeaux, that's probably a minute and a half-ish he was on the ice there. And sometimes when you're just getting a little bit exhausted, you have a tendency to take penalties, and I think that's what you saw there. So the Thoroughbreds now with an opportunity, their first power play of the night.
So the junior will take a seat in the box. Skidmore able to control the face-off. Initially, that one chipped into the corner. Pat Keegan able to get there first. Keegan will trap it up against the boards. Everett Wardle digging away at it. He's able to get it to the far side for Connor Wood. Wood controls. Moves it up top for Devin Musio. Now back to Wood on the far boards. Musio moves it over for Zach Frisk, who's up top. Back to Musio. Now Wood. Musio from the point. That one doesn't get through off a body. Connor Wood stays with it. Now into the middle. Backdoor pass for Connor Wood off the stick of Everett Wardle. Cross-ice pass over. That shot saved by Best. And that one wheeled out all the way down the ice.
That's a good save, but another rebound there. Something to take note of. Again, Best usually pretty strong. Anything that hits him in the chest usually sticks to him. That's two now, and that one a little bit different. You can excuse that one, but just something to make note of. Some of these rebounds leaking out a little bit. A good save nevertheless.
There's a lot of traffic in front of the net on that one. As we're now under a minute here on the Skidmore power play. First power play of the night for either team. As now Matthew Monk will enter after receiving the pass. Monk being double teamed on the near side, and Jacob Banks able to whack it all the way down the ice. Collecting it there is Danny Magnuson. Looks to move it out of his own end. Magnuson hits Thomas Finnick through the neutral zone. He gets tripped up by Jacob Banks entering the offensive end, so the Beacons will be down two men here. 5-on-3 opportunity and a 1 for 30 seconds for Skidmore here.
And this is just speed. You take a look at this replay here, folks, but I think that penalty was just all on the speed. Take a look.
That's the first penalty.
That's the hook. But I think this one, when we saw on the blue line, was just a player entering with speed, and if you can get somebody with their stick, trying to stick check, get that puck off you, if it gets tied up in your skates, moving with that much momentum, it's a pretty automatic tripping call. So a 5-on-3 here.
Wood with it right at the hash marks. Moves it onto his backhand. Leaves it off for Magnuson. Back over to Wood. Back to Magnuson. Magnuson. He's to work it down low. That one thrown. Blocked by Carabelli. Connor Wood with it again. Moves it over for Magnuson. Back down low. A centering pass. Loose in the crease. Several players taking a whack at it. Finally comes out. Another chance. That one blocked by Keegan. And he'll send it back to center. Bordeaux out of the penalty box. So it's a 5-on-4 now. Bordeaux tried to get it to the net, but A good job by Danny Magnuson keeping him to the outside.
I counted 3 blocks there, and a nice job by the Beacons to possess this puck and shave off even more time. But I counted 3 blocks on that 5-on-3 there. Best had to come up with a few saves on top of it, but that's just tremendous work by this penalty kill.
Everett Wardle enters. He'll leave it off for Ryan Waltman. Waltman has some trouble with it. Koye Bankowskis on his back. Bankowskis wins the battle, throws it just wide on the blocker's side.
Boy, he can fly.
We've seen him do that several times this year, just beating his man to the puck.
And you know if he gets a chance, he's going to go for it. There's no hesitation. That's one of the things I love about him. If he sees an opportunity, he's so confident in his skating ability, he's going to go. And you saw there, I mean, it was a 50-50 puck to start. By the end of it, he was on a breakaway.
Without a doubt, one of the top penalty killers in this conference. We've seen it on display numerous times this season as the Beacons control, and Keegan will hammer that one all the way down the ice in the final 20 seconds of the power play. Devin Muccio now moves it across for Zach Frisk. Andy Walker stepped into him, but Skidmore able to stay with it as they bring it in. Cross-ice pass for Freddie Elias. Now a give and go. Puck's tied up now. Finnick with it. Will chip it out as we're back to 5 aside.
It was a good read by Keegan to disrupt that pass to the front.
Corey Clifton off the bench will join the play. Elias stays with it. Towards the middle, and a blocker save by Best on Linderworth's shot. Elias another chance. That one gets blocked by Walker. It was going wide. Walker backhands it ahead for Clifton. Clifton not able to win the race as Elias beats him, so it's going to be an icing with 13:03 to go.
Walker's got to make a better pass there. You've got a 3-on-2. We'll take a look at this replay. But I just thought Walker with an opportunity here. This is the penalty, I think, from earlier. Yeah, you see the trip there right in the skates. It looked like Bankowski's stick. I think they got the wrong guy there now that I think about it. But you just, that 3-on-2 there with Walker, you know, you don't have to lead Clifton that much. You can basically put it right on him. The Beacons had some nice momentum exiting the zone there, and now there's some discrepancy with who was on the ice for that icing play. But I think you could tell, and especially by Walker's reaction, is he knew he led him far too much. You just put it on him next time.
Well, they send Gino Carabelli off the ice, who tried to sneak his way out there. As Skidmore controls, wheeling it in front, is now up top. Over Elias will tee one up. That one blocked by Andy Walker. Walker has Ryan Rowland, who is ahead of the play, as Walker now throws one towards goal. That's patted away by Moore. Now Kevin Urquhart with it will chip it in past Ryan Bogan into the corner now behind the net. And a big hit by Krapinski, stepping into Jacob Franchek. As the puck comes back to the neutral zone, and Perez will wind that one around the boards. Getting there first on the far side, and another big hit. Krapinski,
he's feeling it.
He's throwing his body around, as we've seen him do that plenty of times. That one chipped up off the ceilings, but how about Michael Krapinski laying the boom?
Yeah, twice on one shift. You got to love it. And you saw that in the second one. He saw that play development and just almost allowed the puck to get there so he could lay a really big hit. You hear the crowd get excited about that one. Krapinski's having a good game. You know, we mentioned the assist there in the first period on the only goal of the game thus far, but doing some of these other things, and that's where I think this Beacons team is having most of their success this year, is defensively blocking shots, making hits, making it very difficult for some of these teams that are used to scoring, 2, 3, 4 times a game, making them earn each and every one of them. I think you're seeing that here tonight as well.
Skidmore able to control behind the net. Davis Browning sends his man to the ice. That was Nick Cozy. Mason Beecher, though, with it. Tries to wheel it towards goal. That goes wide. Matthew Monk pinching in. Gets disrupted by Ty Matthews, rather. Tied up in the near corner. Matthew Monk back pedaling with it. Will chip it down the near boards. Another big collision there. Mike Manzo laying the shoulder into Jaden York. That one banked off the apron of the goal. Ty Matthews able to win the loose puck. He'll bank it off the boards. Davis Browning over for Nick DeLuzio. Somebody lost a glove out there. DeLuzio tries to maneuver through the neutral zone. That one's sent back by Matthew Monk, though, as Mason Beecher will send it in. Getting there first is Caden Patrick, who takes it around behind the net. Now Everett Wardle moves it up top. Muccio throws it towards goal. That one blocked, though, by DeLuzio. Wardle able to stay with it. Turns in the corner. Now takes it back up top, moves it for Musio. Back to Wardle, his shot blocked by DeLuzio.
That hurt, that got him in the glove.
Davis Browning moves it across. Grady Friedman now with it, chips it in the middle. Back to center, but goes right on the stick of Devin Musio, who quickly brings it back in. Looks to move it in front, and a nice save by Sam Best. And perhaps a 2-on-1 the other way. Grady Friedman has Mike Manzo going to the net. Friedman takes a shot, and that one gets blocked up and out of play off the stick of Will Dalkenny. And now we have some action after the whistle. Manzo going at it.
Well, Moore took a shot. You know what? And I think the referee's got to talk about this. I think Moore's going to get a penalty. He took an unnecessary shot at Manzo. Manzo was going hard to the net. And Moore took a shot there. I'm not sure. The referees are going to, and there's going to be a penalty. Skidmore's going to get a penalty. That's a really not smart move by Moore. That's just Manzo going to the net. And he took a shot. He's motioning to Manzo's height, but, joke's on him. That's just a goaltender with a mental mistake there, giving the Beacons a power play. I'm not sure if we have the replay. We'll try to pull it up, but Manzo was going hard to the back door looking for a pass. I guess Moore didn't like the fact that he was maybe too far into his crease and gave him a nice shot to the upper body. And the referee saw it. So the Beacons with their opportunity now on the power play.
Good call by you there, Mizey, as Devin Musio serving the penalty. As it has to be a player who's on the ice. Andy Walker able to win the draw. Out there with Guggens and Ty Matthews up front. Dakota Kincannon and Ryan Rowland at the points. Kincannon with it. Gets stapled to the boards by Jaden York. Able to come out with it though. Kincannon will curl back just outside the face-off circle. Moves it down low for Matthews. Matthews dancing with it. Tried to center it for Kincannon, and that one disrupted off the stick of Finnick back down to the Beacons end.
I just don't know why you're trying to force that pass there. You've got other options, and I understand the cross-ice pass is what you're trying to do most times on the power play, but you can't force it like that.
Guggens with speed, beats his man, but the puck rolls off his stick. And another penalty coming up here, but this time it's going to be on the Beacons, I guess, for a cross-check. So we'll play some 4-on-4 here.
Yeah, corner play. Let's take a look at the replay. You're going to watch along the wall here. This is the Krupinski hit. Got a lot of weight into that one. And then take a look here as that shot right there. And you know what? On second look, I didn't think it was – I thought it was worse in real speed. But taking another look at that, it really wasn't that bad. Now, the reaction by Manzo obviously exacerbated things. But, I thought in real time, Moore got his stick up a little bit higher than he actually did. Upon further review, I think it was probably the commotion thereafter that the referees called. I don't know if Moore necessarily did enough to warrant a penalty there, but either way, we're playing 4-on-4. Guggens is in the box.
So 4-on-4 here for 1:08 on the clock as Ryan Rowland now with it behind his own net. He'll circle back. Rowland will leave it off, or he was going to leave it off for Bordeaux, but it stays with it. Keegan will reverse it back for Bordeaux, or rather Rowland. Rowland now looking for options. Curls back in his own end, hits Pat Keegan. Keegan through the red line, will bring it in. Pat Keegan now pulls up on the near wall. Leaves it for Ryan Rowland, who moves it for Bordeaux. Back up top, Keegan, the one-timer goes just wide.
Just missed it. Got all of it for sure.
30 seconds now to go on the 4-on-4. Bordeaux now taking with it. His shot from up top is gloved and held by Blaine Moore.
And we'll take another look here. That's the penalty on Guggens here. You saw him haul him down in the corner there.
What do you think, Mizey? You like that call there?
I don't like either one. I was wrong about the goaltender. I got to admit it. I thought Moore got his stick up higher than he did. So on further review, I didn't like that call, and I certainly didn't like that call in the corner. I thought that was two guys playing hockey. But that's probably why I'm up here.
Jacob Banks was battling there, but coming out with it is Danny Magnuson. Final 10 seconds of the 4-on-4, and will be about 40 seconds of power play time for Skidmore. That one sent to the far side. Ryan Bogan battling there with Everett Wardle. Wardle able to win it. Gets it for Magnuson. Power play here now for Skidmore as the 4-on-4 expires. That one chipped to the far side. Krupinski tries to beat his man. Krupinski got his stick knocked out of his hand. And a penalty coming up. That's going to be interference on Zach Frisk. or they're going to call it a slash, either or, but the Beacons will play 4-on-4 again for 24 seconds, and then the Beacons will have a power play.
And I think a good penalty because Krupinski was in. I think that, and that's a 2-on-1 at best, right? If that play is allowed to continue there. I think Frisk knew he was beat and didn't have a choice, so he takes the slashing call, actually broke the stick. So if you're going to take a slash, I guess that's the way to do it, right? Is just eliminate the play altogether. But you mentioned it, so now another 4-on-4, and Beacons with pretty good amount of power play time on the back end. 8:11 to play in this second period, rather. Still 1-0.
So Manzo, Friedman out there, Keegan and Rowland. Thomas Finnick able to win that draw, but they'll give it away as Mike Manzo will take it back to center. Plenty of space out there. 15 seconds on the 4-on-4. Mike Manzo now will enter, has Grady Friedman trailing him. Manzo, backhander. That one blocked away by Moore. Manzo able to stay with it momentarily, but he gets ridden hard to the boards by Matthew Monk as they tried to move it ahead the other way. That one flipped back to center. Stepping into that drive is Jaden York entering the zone, and it goes wide. And the Beacons now with 1 minute and 25 seconds will call it a power play time as Pat Keegan looks to dump it in. That one banked off the glass, goes behind the net. As Elias gets there first and will send it all the way down the ice. Sam Best out of his net to play it. We'll rim it around for Pat Keegan. Keegan able to get it for Owen Bordeaux. Bordeaux through the neutral zone. He'll enter on the near side. Bordeaux tried to get it towards the middle, but it kind of slipped off his stick, and that one sent all the way back down the ice.
You got to recognize the situation. You're on the power play here. So Bordeaux, unless you know for a fact you can get that to the front of the net and get a scoring opportunity, just continue on that path. Go behind the net and set up your power play. Instead, it's basically a turnover, and you've got to break out again. This is going to cost them 10, maybe 15 seconds. I think the Beacons got to be better recognizing the situation they're in.
35 seconds to go on the Beacons power play. Guggens with it up top. Moves it over for Andy Walker walking in. Now Davis Browning, or rather Ryan Rowland. Guggens shoots. That one blocked. Gets through and goes just wide. Bordeaux for Andy Walker, throwing it towards goal. Whacked in the air as Grady Friedman. Not sure why he didn't play it because it was a hand pass, and
that's going to be all the way down now. And a high stick. It was close, too. I thought, we'll take a look at this replay here. But I thought it may be a possible high stick as well. But just take a look. And right there, you know you're beat. So the slash there eliminates the 2-on-1. And you could see on the far side, Andy Walker was all alone. So another couple seconds, if that play continues, I bet that pass comes across. Walker's got a little bit of a breakaway there. So that's a penalty where the coaching staff will reprimand you for being in a position where you can get beat that badly. But I think the slash definitely saved a scoring chance.
To bring in oxymoron, it's a smart penalty.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, tough when you're in a position where you know you're beat. You've got to make a decision there if you know you can't get back into the play, and I think Frisk made the right one.
Big collision here on the near side as Deluzio got ran into by Jack Strauss. That one comes back to center, and that'll do it for the Beacons power play. So neither team able to capitalize as another big hit by Davis Browning, or rather, that was Ty Matthews on the far side who ran into Danny Magnuson. That one gets tied up in the linesman's skate. Davis Browning sends it back in, but it goes right to Magnuson. At center ice, Ty Matthews tries to chip it ahead. Guggens leaves it off for Kincannon. Now Matthews with it. He'll bring it in. Matthews gets pushed down to the ice by Connor Wood. Guggens able to stay with it, though. Gets it for Matthews, who wheels it towards goal. Blocker save. Guggens tries a little between the leg move there as he couldn't stay with it. Brian Bogan tries to keep it in. They say he does. It looked like that came back to center, and it does anyways, as Krupinski now moves it over for Bogan. Bogan will bring it in. Throws it towards goal, blockered away into the corner by Moore. Bogan now again sends it right back in, but it goes right on the stick of Matthew Monk. He'll try to maneuver it out. Ryan Bogan trying to keep it in at the point. Puck's tied up on the boards. Players digging at it. Rugen's in there as Pankowskis able to chip it ahead, as they're going to say it's offside, so the Beacons will have to tag up. Not sure of for the whistle there. It looked like Pankowskis was headed back out, but the faceoff will be in the neutral zone.
Well, you can see how even this game has been. 5 minutes left to go here in the second period, but neither team has really been able to find a ton of consistency in the offensive side of the puck. We've seen it with a couple shifts now. I thought the first line for the Beacons right there had a heck of a shift. but following it up has been what's been difficult for really both of these teams in this game.
A stalemate off the draw. Clifton battling there with it with Linderworth. Linderworth wins it and they'll bring it in. Throws it towards the goal, patted away by Sam Best. Goes to Perez on the far side. He'll try to move it down low. Another chance, back door. That one just missed by Linderworth. He had room there and just banks it off the side of the net.
He's one of their top guys. I can't believe he missed it that poorly.
Looked like Sam Best also may have had a chance at it too, because he did get over there.
He did, in a hurry.
And that one chipped down low. Zach Frisk being heckled by Ryan Bogan from behind. That one moved up top. Elias throws it towards goal, hits a body and goes towards the hash marks now to the far side. Kopinski with another heavy collision there with Linderworth. Beacons have it. Brady Friedman tries to chip it ahead. He'll send it in, and the Beacons will make a change. Brady Friedman staying out there as he's on the forecheck. Andy Walker keeps it in momentarily. Tries to get it for McCoy. That one knocked back to center. Andy Walker, though, gets there. Walker, the near side, cuts to the middle. Great movement shot. Save, and the rebound came out to the hash marks, and the Beacons couldn't find it.
What a move by Walker. He was in all alone. Great save by Moore.
Would have been a highlight reel goal as that one chipped. As it's brought back in by Skidmore, so no offside. Zach Frisk will move it back to center, but Andy Walker's right there. He'll look to stay with it, tries to move it ahead, but it's knocked down by Frisk back into the Beacons' end. Rowland will move it over for Pat Keegan. McCoy using his stick as a ramp there, trying to chip it in, but it goes up into the ceiling. So the face-off will stay in the neutral zone with 3:22 to go in the second period.
Critical point in this hockey game. 3:22 left in the second period here. Still a 1-0 game. Face-off at center ice. I thought that might be a little bit closer based on where the puck was released versus where it went out, that the Beacons might have a chance there for a draw closer to the zone, but we play on.
Not sure if you just saw that replay there, Mizey. I think Sam Best may have got a piece of that opportunity by Linderworth.
It looked, he was definitely close. You mentioned it on air. I mean, he was definitely in the spot. I thought he missed the net, Lindenworth, but hey, as goalie guys, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. We'll give him a save on that.
Card-carrying members of the Goaltenders Union as Guggens has it in the far corner. Stays with it at the top of the face-off circle. Guggens doing a nice job trying to maneuver it over as Grady Friedman gets a stick on it. Getting there first is Dow Kenny in the corner. Guggens gets there though. DeLuzio takes a whack at it. That one sent back to center. A chance the other way for Jack Strauss. Strauss cuts to the middle. A great move in and a save by Sam Best. And Strauss ran into him after the fact. Another shot from the point. And Best, who is just knocked down, has to make a save and he'll cover the rebound.
Browning got beat pretty solidly on that one-on-one. You could see he gave an extra tap there, but here we go. All right, so yeah, I don't know. You think he got a save there? I'm not sure. Like I said, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, and then here's the play by Walker. I mean, that's just, you want to talk about walking around a guy. Great individual effort to get that scoring opportunity, get it towards the front of the net. Just couldn't finish.
Skidmore will control. As now Mason Beecher with it. He'll backhand it down low for Nick Cozy. He's tied up by Pat Keegan against the boards. Beecher able to come out with it though. Moves it up top for Magnuson. His top defensive pairing logging a lot of minutes for the Thoroughbreds here tonight as Matthew Monk will send it in. That goes out of the reach of Nick Cozy. But Magnuson able to keep it in at the far point. That one sent right back in. Ryan Rowland will get there first. He'll chip it over looking for Banks, but Beecher got there first. Banks put a hip into him. A shot from up top goes just wide on the glove side. May have deflected. Another chance. Backdoor has a chance there from Beecher. He couldn't put it home. Another shot from the point. That one got blocked by Rowland. Jaden York stays with it. As Pat Keegan riding him. Good offensive zone time here for the Thoroughbreds. That one goes behind the net. Jaden York chips it to the far side, but Jacob Banks right there. As Pat Keegan will get it back to center. Moves it for Banks as Carabelli tried to whack at it. As Beacons can't control. Banks gets hauled down. No call. as they'll play on. Matthew Monk now. A minute to go here in the middle period.
You know, a subtle play there. Banks got that puck chipped a little bit, and smart play by Keegan. Most guys, it's turnover here.
Walker now walking towards the hash marks. A chance for Kikinen, and a save by Blaine Moore at the near post.
Might have been his best of the night. I was going to say that a sneaky play is a lot of defensemen after a long shift there would have gone right to the bench, but Keegan stays on the ice and supports the puck. As we'll take a look at this replay. Not sure if we're going to have it here. This is just some great offensive work by the Thoroughbreds there. You see Best coming across. Not sure if he got a save there. We'll see it here on that cross ice. Yeah, the puck just bouncing a little bit too much, but I thought a nice subtle play there by Keegan to support the puck and not just go right to the bench for the change, making sure he finished the shift, as coaches like to say.
That one sent in cross corner by Freddie Elias. As it goes behind the net, Caden Patrick took a whack at it. That one goes off the referee, off the stick of Everett Wardle. Owen Bordeaux chips it back to center. Final 25 seconds of the second period. That one chipped in by Patrick. Davis Browning will chase it down in the far corner. They'll send it up the far boards. Owen Bordeaux wins that battle. Bordeaux out of his own end. Final 10 seconds now. Walker got stonewalled there. As Skidmore controls. Everett Wardle now. As that one's whacked back to the Skidmore end. Stephen Perez with it. But that will do it for the second period. And we'll stay where we started after the first period, as the Beacons will still be up 1-0 here heading into the third.
Yeah, game of attrition in this one. I think you've got it. Both teams are probably going into the locker rooms here knowing this next one is crucial. And that's a little bit of an obvious statement here, but I think with the way this game has gone through two periods, goals are at a premium. I think if the Thoroughbreds find a way to tie it, I'd be surprised if they find another one pretty soon thereafter. I think the Beacons know they've got to get this next goal, or they've got to play some sound D. The goaltender's been good. He hasn't been overly tested. Thoroughbreds had a couple shifts, though, there late in that first or in that second period where I thought they were really getting close to finding one. You saw a couple of the replays. It came pretty close. So I think the Beacons have done an excellent job defensively here tonight, but they've got to tighten it up even better, because unless they can find a second and a third goal, I think the Skidmore Thoroughbreds are going to throw everything they have at them. And like I said, they came pretty close in that second period.
Now, do you think losing Alex Duncan had a part in that when you're playing with a man down in your third line left wing?
Well, as we expected, I think they moved McCoy, and you know what? I've seen all four lines here tonight we've mentioned. I think the top two lines have done well offensively. Andy Walker, we just showed a few minutes ago, his individual effort. I thought that line, Bordeaux, his name we mentioned a lot. And I think that first game, Benkauskas, he's got the only goal of the game. He's the fourth line center. So I think you've got to be happy with the forwards, the way they're running right now, but this game just doesn't seem like it's going to open up. I think this is going to probably finish as a 2-1, 2-0 final. Yet to be determined, still 20 here to play, but that's my prediction for the third.
Well, that'll wrap up our second period action here. It's the UMass Boston Beacons leading the Skidmore College Thoroughbreds after two periods, 1-0. As we'll be back to go over our scoring summary and our game stats. Andrew Bluestein, Matt Meisenbacher here. We'll be right back on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that, and it's all about growing as a person.
My coaches have helped me with figuring out who I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school, it's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
I'm the first undergraduate alumnus to lead this university. I'm very proud of that. I was literally able to transform my life because of the University of Massachusetts, and I want that for every single student that walks through the door.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
Cheer for the stumbles. The he shoulda had that's. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
The University of Massachusetts Boston, with its scenic oceanfront campus, easily accessible to downtown Boston, is recognized as a model of excellence for urban public universities. 16 NCAA Division III sports are part of the more than 100 student organizations that create an engaging campus life in America's biggest and best college town. UMass Boston, Boston's urban public research university for the 21st century.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Moving from Turkey, it was a rough journey for me because when you don't really speak the language that well and when you don't really fit in the crowd, it's very easy to disappear. But I decided not to give up, and UMass helped me.
UMass Boston was my first choice because when I came to the campus, I saw that there was a lot of diversity, there's a lot of people. Here there is a lot of international students, so it's really cool to meet people from different countries, different parts of the world. I'm Julia Murphy, I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
I'm Olivia Murphy, I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
We're sisters.
We're sisters.
I play volleyball and she plays basketball. Here they have a freshman success community. So each major has their own community that you can join as a freshman, and you take classes with them, you do study groups with them. So it was really helpful getting to know people in your major right away.
So in health exercise sciences, we have an internship at the end, so it's so much better to have an advisor helping you out, telling you which classes to choose.
People at UMass Boston, they're here because they know they can have an impact, not just on research, but on people, on their students.
This is just a starting point. It only has potential to grow, and it has a big potential to grow up.
You're really having a direct impact on people's lives, and you can see that now, and you can see that years from now.
So I think it's becoming like the place that people want to go.
What UMass Boston is able to offer to its young people certainly stands out to that mission that was set right out in the beginning. It's something UMass Boston should be and can be very proud about.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and I know how powerful words can be.
The term gay doesn't mean stupid, lame, or less than.
So I pledge to speak up if I hear the term gay used in a derogatory way or any other homophobic terms.
If you can play in Division III.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and my teammates unconditionally accepted me as part of their family. So now I pledge to do the same for others. If you can play in Division III.
What separates UMass Boston from other schools is the fact that a large percentage of students commute. For me, it takes 2 hours each day to go to and from school, but every second has been worth it because the students that come here are serious about learning, they value their education, and understand where it'll take them in the future. This is what UMass Boston means to me.
The University of Massachusetts Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate and graduate programs, 16 Division III sports, and more than 100 student organizations. To learn more about the opportunities waiting for you at UMass Boston, visit in person or online. UMass Boston, a research university with a
Welcome back here inside Edward T. Berry Ice Rink. Andrew Bluestein and Matt Meisenbacher with you here on the Beacons Broadcast Network. The Beacons still lead 1-0 after 2 periods. The only goal so far, Koyo Binkowskis, his 4th of the season from Michael Krapinski. That's all we have now, but let's take a look at our game stats thus far through 2 periods. Shots 21-17, the Beacons out shooting, but as we talked about before, Mizey, the Thoroughbreds have thrown a lot of rubber towards net, just a lot of them haven't gotten through.
They got pretty close there in that second period. I think for the final 5 or so minutes, that was all Thoroughbreds. Beacons were having a tough time breaking it out of the zone and generating really anything past the red line. So I think that needs to be addressed. The Skidmore team, like we talked about, we've been talking about all game, they average 3.3 goals per game. Right now they're still sitting on a 0. So you've got to make sure, hey, if we're going to try to win this thing 1-0 or 2-0, that's fine. But if they get one, you can't fall apart. And we've seen that from the Beacons. Sometimes they just hanging on by a thread and they end up giving one up, and you just don't see the same effort that you saw prior to the goal. I think they're past that at this point in the season, but I do worry if the Thoroughbreds get one here early that they might revert back to that. I think if you can go up by 2, the way your defense and your goaltender have looked, you're in a good spot to win the game. So we talked about this next goal is crucial. I mean, these teams have been evenly matched through 2 periods. I don't think much is going to change in the third. I think it really just comes down to this next goal.
Well, 17 saves for Sam Best, 20 saves for Blaine Moore. Beacons trailing in the face-off department, 21-15. 0-2 on the power play. Skidmore 0-3 on the power play. And that's where we stand here. Mizey, any final thoughts?
Make sure your goaltender sees the puck. There's been a few times tonight Best has been screened. I think they've just got to do a little bit better job clearing the puck. He looks strong here tonight. I think if he sees it, he's going to stop it.
Well, that'll wrap up our second intermission coverage as UMass leading Skidmore 1-0 after 2. We'll be right back for third period action here on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
Passion's love. Passion is love for what you do. Because I think when you face challenges, it comes down to how much you want it and how much you love it. Passion is what keeps you going forward. Seeing so many people that were like-minded and so hardworking in their sport and academics, being surrounded by like-minded people makes you want to be more passionate. I think it pushes you to a different level that maybe you didn't think you had. And you can do the best of both worlds and love all of it.
Proportion to me is the lived experience of our Division III student athletes. They balance life from an academic perspective and the rigors of competing at a high level, bonding with teammates and building lifelong friendships. But they also are involved in their communities. They work jobs and internships and volunteer. They've learned to be resilient. Diverse experiences are setting them up for the future.
Passion's love.
The 5-campus UMass system is the university that educates the workforce of Massachusetts. We recognize that we are truly here for a reason, And that recognition inspires us and drives us every single day.
Responsibility is being accountable for your words and actions, first and foremost. It also is an obligation to be a positive influence in the communities around you. Being in a D3 program, you're going to have lots of different opportunities. You're not just an athlete, you're also involved in student life. Your academics are extremely important. We give a lot of our student athletes responsibilities right from the start by giving them leadership opportunities, by having them engage in the community, be a positive influence. That's being a responsible person.
I believe sportsmanship is a mutual admiration and respect for your fellow competitors. We all go through a lot to reach the point where we compete against one another. It's important to realize that. So once we're finally on the field or on the court or on the starting block, we look at each other as fellow human beings and not just competitors. Being able to recognize the hard work that other athletes are putting in creates a more positive and inclusive environment.
Comprehensive learning is being able to adapt to experiences and apply the things that I learned. Being an athlete and juggling academics helped me grow as a person, and things that I've learned, I was able to apply it in another field, putting them into everyday life. Developing comprehensive learning helped me prioritize certain things to make sure I get to where I want to be.
Welcome back here inside Edwards E. Berry Ice Rink. Andrew Bluestein, Matt Meisenbacher here with you. The Beacons still having their first period goal by Koye Benkauskas stand as the only one we've seen here tonight as we are about to get set for third period action here.
Mentally battling, right, in this third period. You know you're going to get a few waves from Skidmore here. Skidmore, if you're Skidmore, you've got to be frustrated at this point. You've had some opportunities there, especially in that second period. Some of those cross-ice plays, thinking about having that goaltender be fully stretched and not even get a shot on goal. So you know Skidmore is going to be coming here. You've got to have a commitment, I think, to your defensive zone first and foremost. You've got to make sure you know your assignments, you're blocking shots, and then on the breakout, just keeping things simple. If you can get to the red line and you have any type of speed, that's fine. But if your options aren't there, you've just got to make sure to get that puck deep and force the Skidmore team to go 200 feet as much as possible.
We're about to get set here for third period action. Mike Manzo and Mason Beecher. Manzo wins the faceoff. Beacons control. Pat Keegan swoops in from the blue line, and he'll muscle it in. That one goes all the way behind the net. Ty Matthews will push Matthew Monk against the boards. Pat Keegan couldn't handle it up top, and he'll have to wheel it from the neutral zone back in. Out to play it is Blaine Moore. They'll leave it off for Monk. Moving it over, looking for Magnuson as it goes all the way to the near side. Jaden York, heavy collision there as Grady Friedman had his cage snap off there, but he buckles it back into place and he'll head off. That stretch pass doesn't work, and that'll be an icing. No icing rule, they wave it off. So DeLuzio will backhand it up and out of play. Not sure why they waved the icing off there.
Me neither, and it's a big deal now, especially with that puck going out of play, because now you've got an in-zone draw, and it looked like it should have been all the way down the other side of the ice. Not a lot of chatter from the coaching staff, so maybe they saw something we didn't see, but here you have what should have been an icing from our vantage point, and now you've got a defensive zone draw.
Coogan's and Wardle. Wardle wins it. That shot from the point stepped into by Dow Kenny goes wide. Wheeled back behind the net by Wood. Wardle sends it up top. Losing an edge there was Musio, and almost heading the other way was Owen Bordeaux. But a nice job by Musio to stay with it. Davis Browning now behind his own net, looking for options up ice. They'll go over to DeLuzio. That one moved ahead. Concannon chips it for Bordeaux. Bordeaux gets hip checked into the boards as swooping in behind the net is Everett Wardle. And another big hit by Owen Bordeaux. And they're going to say he got him from behind. So it's going to be a boarding penalty, and the Beacons will be shorthanded at the start of this third period.
Ref's going to talk about it. This is definitely, at least a minor. This is a big, big, big call. If they could give him a 5 here, it's tough. Yeah, it's going to be a 2. So I think the reason it's a 2, folks, is because there's a little bit of a turn, and thoroughbreds are going to want an explanation on why that's not a 5. But I think, and we'll show on the replay, it'll show it for sure, there was a little bit of turn there, which as a forward it's tough, right? If you've already committed to make the hit, that angle changes. It's very, very tough to pull up at that point. So I think it's definitely a penalty. It's a hit from behind, but I like the fact that it's a minor and not a major. Oftentimes you'll see the referees will base the call on the result and not necessarily the play, and I think the referees did a good job there of just calling what they saw and not necessarily the result.
Musio with it up top. They'll move it for Connor Wood. Now Musio. Back to Wood, back to Musio. Moving it over. Frisk tried to move it in the middle. Sticked away by Bankowskis, but not out. Musio. Will move it over. Pass down low, and a great defensive play by Ryan Rowland, and Pat Keegan will send it the length of the rink.
Yeah, Skidmore just a few chances there to shoot and are, again, looking for that perfect play, that cross-ice play there. I think it cost them. They had a few chances to get that puck to the net, and they didn't take it.
That one through the neutral zone. Davis Browning, though, will send it all the way down the ice. 1:20 to go on the Skidmore power play, as Devin Musio will look to move it ahead, hitting Everett Wardle. Now Zach Frisk brings it in, taking the hit there from Browning. DeLuzio looks to move it ahead. Nice job, though, by Zach Frisk to keep it in. Goes all the way to the far boards. Wood moving it down low for Caden Patrick. Now Wardle with it. Back to Patrick in the corner. Now Wardle will wheel it around the kick blade. Zach Frisk goes under his stick back to center, as Musio will move it ahead. Zach Frisk, and a big hit there. Jacob Banks lays the boom.
Open ice. You gotta love it.
Andy Walker now a chance. Tries a wraparound and a save by Moore, getting his pad up against the post.
That's a huge hit. Banks had him lined up, head down, center ice. Made great contact, kept his elbow down, his shoulder was the point of contact. Great hit.
That one moved over for Ryan Waltman. Now back for Linderworth, who brings it in. Now Waltman at the faceoff dot, had it sticked away by Pat Keegan. They go hard into the boards. Puck's tied up momentarily. Linderworth comes out with it. Able to get it to Matthew Monk. Final 5 seconds approaching of this power play. That shot gets blocked from Banks at the point.
Take a look at this replay, folks. Jacob Banks, the junior out of Westminster, Mass. And here's the penalty. You can see it's a slight turn there. He's trying to make the breakout, but here's Banks. I mean, that's just a great hit. Shoulder to shoulder. Great contact. You followed through. He didn't pull up. He didn't leave his feet. Just made solid contact through. I like what I saw there. Great shift, and then he had the block. It was Banks who was able to deflect that puck out of play. Great shift from 5.
That'll do it for the Skidmore power play. Owen Bordeaux right out of the box and onto the ice. So we're back to 5-a-side. That puck behind the net. Concannon tries to get there, but he was beaten by Nick Cozy. Now Krapinski staples him up against the boards. Concannon hacking at it as well. Coming out with it is Cozy. Bogan will put him against the end boards, and Cozy will go to the ice. Dugan's trying to move it ahead, but it goes to Monk, who throws one on goal, and a save by Best with no whistle. 16-16 to go, final period.
And I like the coaching staff trusting their youngest line, the Friedman, Manzo, Matthews line here. You've had thoroughbreds coming off a power play, so they've got a little bit of momentum here, and you're trusting 2 freshmen and a sophomore to get the job done, especially a freshman center in Manzo. It's a very important draw here.
Jacob Franchik.
He should get tossed for that. He's getting a warning. I think he should have been tossed. That was a pretty flagrant false start.
Manzo able to win the draw from Jacob Franchik, the 4th line center for Skidmore. Friedman able to move it ahead for Mike Manzo with speed on the near side. Left off. That one stepped into by Browning, goes wide, but they're going to say it was offside. So the Beacons have to tag up. That one goes all the way around. Ty Matthews got there first, but it's chipped into the middle and goes right onto the stick of Kevin Urquhart. Controlling it now is Freddie Leos. Moves it over for Steven Perez. That one sent all the way in on Sam Best. And with Kevin Urquhart right in his kitchen, he'll be forced to take a whistle.
Yeah, another end zone draw there, but I think a solid shift from that second line. And that's something that you need, right? Any coaching staff has to feel confident at this point in the season. The freshmen and sophomores you have to be able to rely upon, and you can see it right there. Putting your second line out in a situation where you need to win a defensive draw. Here's another one. Now you've got a senior center. in Walker, but just having that confidence in all of your forwards. And you can see the coaching staff giving some extra pats on the back.
Big collision on the far side as Ryan Rowland putting the body into Linderworth. But a physical hockey game here tonight as Bankowskis tries to work his way out of his own end, and that one chipped back in. Ryan Rowland moves it ahead, right in front of the scorekeeper's box. Controlling it now is Thomas Finnick. As a stick goes flying there. Nice job by Bankowskis trying to wheel it ahead, but staying with it was Dow Kenny. He'll move it ahead for Zach Frisk, who chips it in. Frisk gets it behind the net. Centering pass and a save by Best on the far post. And Hill frees it.
Yeah, a good seal on that post. As that puck, from our vantage point, looked like it was bouncing towards the front of the net there. He's able to get it with the glove. I think he turned the glove over. Smart play. And you could just see Beacon's okay living here. I mean, none of these chances are really that threatening. It's a lot of defensive time. I think they need to find a way to get out of their own zone, maybe get some faceoffs down in neutral zone or in the offensive zone. Here's a chance.
Boy, Skidmore won the draw. Looks like Connor Wood had a chance to perhaps throw it towards goal. I don't know if he saw the puck, though. As that one goes under the stick of Guggens, a chance the other way, perhaps. As Everett Wardle brings it in, they say it's onside. The trailer for Monk, a shot, and he scores! Matthew Monk, the defenseman, on the trailer, beats Best on the glove side, and we're all knotted up at one.
I want to take a look at the replay. I don't know. This looks offside to me. I thought this was offside. And I don't think there's no replay in Division III. Referees are going to talk about it. They've got the linesman here. He's saying it's good. I would ask for an explanation here. I think from my perspective, Andrew, that looked offsides. It was definitely close. It's worth a conversation. Beacon's coaching staff, I'm surprised, not even bringing it up. We'll get that replay drawn up for you, but I think that was certainly a little too close for comfort there. We've got a 1-1 game. Let's see how the Beacons respond.
So the goal stands. That'll be Matthew Monk's third of the season, the senior captain, as Skidmore right back on the attack. That one throw towards goal. It's blockered away by Best. Now Grady Friedman trying to bring it through the neutral zone.
One thing to note, Andrew, the celebration was right in front of the Beacons bench, and I took a look. A lot of guys didn't like that. I wonder if that's going to come back.
So we'll keep our eye on that as another good chance there as Skidmore really pressing the attack now. As that one sent in by Elias into the near corner. Pat Keegan now with it. As the UMass captain tries to play it through ahead. Another big hit there as Keegan ran into Zach Frisk. That one reversed by Andy Walker. Ryan Rowland now with it behind his own net. He'll leave it off for Andy Walker. Walker out of his own end. Had it knocked away, though, by Zach Frisk and sent right back in. Sam Best out to play it. He'll leave it off for Pat Keegan, who winds it around to the far side. Bankowskis had it and turned it over. That one wheeled off a stick. Banks off the corner boards. That one moved ahead for Jacob Banks. And that one sent in and out of play, as we'll take a look at the replay here.
Here we go. Let's see. I don't know. You be the judge at home. You've seen the same thing we're seeing. You'd like to have that camera right on the blue line, but I mean, take a look. We're going to slow it down. It's close. It's close. No replay. If you have replay, you wonder if no replay, it's a judgment call. It's definitely close.
Not enough conclusive evidence there, seemingly. As that shot by Bordeaux goes off the end boards, swung all the way back out front, but Beacons hadn't fully entered yet.
Yeah, they need some offensive zone time. It's been far too much. 7 minutes into this period, it's really been all thoroughbreds, and that's fine. But you've got to find some time on the offensive side of the puck, or otherwise you're just giving up too many chances to this team.
And the Beacons, who were leading in the shot department at the end of the first two periods, and now it's tied at 21 apiece. So Skidmore working their way back into this game offensively. That centering pass goes just out of the reach of Bordeaux down low. Now Guggens with it. Moves it up top to Luzio. Over for Browning. Browning throws it towards the goal. That one blockered away by Moore. Guggens tries to knock it down. But coming out with it was Nick Posey. That one chipped all the way back down the ice, and this will be an icing.
I like the shot there from Browning. He was just not really trying to shoot it too hard. He was trying to put it to an area. Let's take a look one more time. And great job by our replay crew to get this slowed down.
That's offside.
That looks offsides. That looks offsides. Great work by our crew. I got to give a shout out to Elena, working hard behind the scenes, slowing that thing down. You'd think we were on an NHL broadcast the way these guys can work these replays for us, but I think that looked offside, Andrew.
It was offside. The player had entered the zone before the puck. And again, you can't fault the officials on that. It's such a hard play to rule, especially when it's that quickly. But
yeah, because there's no replay, right? And so even you got to go with what they called on the ice. So even if the Beacons did challenge in any way, there's really nothing that could be done.
As Keegan tries to stick that, is going hard. The end boards, a chance in front, and I believe Best got a piece of it.
Yeah, it bounced a little bit too. You can't be giving those up, not at this stage of the game. Alone in front. That's the third time there's been a grade A opportunity that the Beacons have escaped without any type of damage.
Pat Keegan tries to move it ahead, takes a funky bounce. Now back the other way. A shot on goal and a nice glove save by Best off the stick of Jacob Franchek.
You got to find a way to get some offense here. You're just spending too much time defending here in this third. You're still okay. It's still a 1-1 game. You're at home, and you've done a lot of things to be at this point, right? To be tied, and you just got to find a way to get some of that offense back. You're just defending far too long right now, and if you just mathematically, right, statistically, if you give a team that much time in the offensive zone, they're eventually going to find something.
Michael Krapinski able to find that puck. They'll move it to the far side. Bankowskis with speed. Tries to chip it ahead. Krapinski, the defenseman, a chance. And a save by Moore. Puck still loose. And the Beacons couldn't find it. Now back the other way. Exiting the zone is Finnick. And a big hit there. Krapinski put the shoulder into Frisk. Frisk, another big hit. This time it's Andy Walker.
No way.
And they're going to get him for a penalty.
That's terrible. That's just terrible. I cannot believe he made that call. First of all, he's not even in the zone. Bradshaw, the referee Bradshaw, that's a really terrible call. Bradshaw was in the zone and didn't have anything called. He was letting them play. McDonald's in the neutral zone. I don't agree with that whatsoever. I really don't. And to give, for a team at this stage, there really haven't been many penalties. To make that call, and the coaching staff, I agree, they want an explanation here. Because Bradshaw, again, was in zone. He was right next to the play. He doesn't make the call. McDonald's in the neutral zone, and I know that's just, and I didn't see, even if you thought it was a penalty, I saw all shoulder there. I think that's a really tough call for this Beacons team right now.
Another chance. That one goes just wide up the stick of Connor Wood. The Beacons shorthanded again. That one moved up top. Lucio in the middle. Now backdoor for Wood. Another save by Sam Best off his stick. Now moving it down low. Patrick with it. Back for Frisk. Leaving it off for Musio. Frisk back to Musio. His shot. Saved by Best with the blocker. Tied up, and it's going to be a high stick, so the faceoff will come in the neutral zone as we'll take a look at the replay here.
Well, here's the first hit by Krapinski. I mean, poor Frisk. He's getting bumped this entire shift. But watch, as the puck continues here, I mean, that shoulder, there's no way they called an elbow or.
What was the call? I didn't see what the signal was.
I think he called an elbowing. Either way, there's nothing in that play there that warrants a penalty. I mean, the puck was in play. Frick had just touched it. And Walker's making a hit on a guy. It's not. I don't see a charge. He's not. Wasn't anywhere near the boards. His elbow was down. I just think that's one referees getting too involved in the hockey game.
I would concur on that. It seemed to be a clean hit. As another entrance to the zone is offside. So with 1:09 to go on the Skidmore power play, the faceoff will come in the neutral zone. So they did get that offside.
Minute left, and that's the thing. So if you're the Beacons, right, there's nothing you can do. You got a minute left here, 10 minutes in the game. Kill this off, and then just find a way, hopefully, to get some momentum off of a kill for a penalty you didn't deserve. If you've got the right type of guys on the bench, they'll make note of that. Might create a spark, but you've got to get out of here. You've got a minute left. You've got to get out of here unscathed.
Comes up top, Musio will whack it in. Zach Frisk with it on the far boards. Dancing with it. Moves it down low for Patrick. Now cross ice for Wood. Up top, Musio for Wood. Back cross for Frisk. That shot gets
good save.
Blocked away by Best, and that one sent the length of the rink. Approaching 30 seconds to go on the Skidmore power play. The Beacons will make a full change.
Good save by Best to get that blocker up in a hurry. That shot had some heat on it. He was able to get that shoulder up and make the save.
Matthew Monk cross ice for Ryan Waltman, but a nice job by Jacob Binks to knock him off the puck and send it all the way down the ice.
Well, he's had a great game, especially defensively.
Quick up back the ice. Monk will enter, tries to chip it for Magnuson. He'll get it behind the net in the final 10 seconds of the Skidmore power play. Jacob Binks whacks it ahead but not out. Monk able to keep it in. Gets it for Linderworth on the far boards. That'll do it, so we're back to 5-a-side. Grady Friedman off the bench. That shot thrown towards goal doesn't get through. As Ryan Rowland now tied up on the end boards with Linderworth. Swooping in there was Ryan Waltman. He's sent to the ice by Keegan. A turnaround shot by Linderworth, and getting a piece of it was Best.
Beacons are tired. They need a change.
Ryan Rowland able to get his body there. He's the freshest guy on the ice. Grady Friedman working his way in. Tries to maneuver around Magnuson, but Magnuson stands his ground. Now Nick Cozy gets it in the middle for Ryan Waltman. He gets stonewalled by Ty Matthews, and that shot will go off of Waltman, so it'll be an offsides, and looks like his bubble cage came off there.
Completely off. That's something you really don't see. It comes completely detached there. Fortunately for him, it doesn't seem like he's injured at all, but it's rare that his face shield will come all the way off. Now the referees are talking about it. They're probably wondering where the face-off's going to be. And it's going to be at center ice. So you got 8:20, and the Beacons have now killed off 2 power plays. They've defended a lot. I think it's crucial that this team finds, and I like the line that's out here right now, this second line, the young line, trying to find some offense, get some shots on goal. That goaltender Moore has been quiet for a while now. If you can get a few shots on him, you wonder if you get one. I like your chances to walk out of here with 2 points.
Ryan Bogan moves it across for Grady Friedman. He'll wheel it looking for Manzo, but finding it is Steven Perez. He'll enter. Moving it over on the far side for Beecher. He'll go into the corner. He gets knocked to the ice by Bogan, who also falls down. And now Nick Cozy moves it over for Mason Beecher up top. Elias throws it wide. Goes all the way around. Another big hit there. This time it's Mike Manzo. That one chipped back to center, bouncing over the stick of Perez. The Beacons will make a fire wagon change. Now a cross-ice pass, and a penalty coming here, and I believe the Beacons are going to get too many men on the ice.
Krupinski got teed up, and he's getting at least a 10. Said something to the referee.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, or is it a 10-minute misconduct? Nope, it's going to be a penalty. 2 minutes.
Didn't see it. I just saw McDonald was upset immediately and went right to the bench. Krupinski was on the bench, so my guess here, I didn't see it. My guess here is he must have said something to McDonald getting off the ice. Only the players on the ice, we won't know until after the game what happened. It's not something they're going to provide a lot of detail on, but the way McDonald went right to the bench, pointed right at Krupinski, and gave the old technical foul, teed him up, and another power play here for the Beacons. You wonder what was said. Krupinski putting his team in a tough spot here.
So Skidmore controls. Patrick with it down low. Moved up top. Over Wood. Cross ice chance. Saved by Best. And the rebound tied up. With 7:05 to go in the third.
Coming across. You just like the way Best moves in the crease, right? If you watch him, just so smooth laterally, and when he comes across, he's very square. There's really not a lot of holes, and pucks aren't going to get through him. If you're going to beat him, it's going to be high or outside if he can't fully extend. But when he comes across, particularly on the ice, there's just really not a lot to shoot at, and you can see that there. He got the rebound, came across in a hurry, made a nice save.
Andy Walker, nice job there, able to get the puck back to center. Connor Wood, though, bringing it in. Big hit by Walker on the back check and flip back out to center. Devin Musio now out of his own end. Minute 15 to go on another Skidmore power play. Entering is Zach Frisk. Try to get it to Patrick in the middle, but it was whacked away, but Skidmore able to control it. Musio over to Frisk. That one sent into the far corner. Behind the net, Wardle. Now up top at the point. Devin Musio moving it over to Wood. Now down low for Patrick. Back up top for Frisk. Now Luzio down low. Wood a chance. Another chance for Wardle on the backhand, and I think Best got a pad on it.
Yeah, he did. Some tired penalty killers out there. Good save by Best.
Another pad save and a great effort by Jacob Banks, who you mentioned, Mizey, has been awesome defensively tonight. Makes a huge play there.
He has earned every minute.
Final 30 seconds of the Skidmore power play. Magnuson, and that one back to center. Koye Benkauskas with speed. But this time it's Blaine Moore who came out and leave it off for Matthew Monk. Final 15 seconds now of the Thoroughbred power play. Matthew Monk will bring it in, working on DeLuzio. He'll take it behind the net. Monk stays with it. Final 5 seconds. Leaving it off for Magnuson. Magnuson walks in. Cross-ice pass, a chance. That one got blocked by DeLuzio. We're back to 5 aside, but the Beacons in the vulnerable minute here. As that one goes off of the helmet, it looked like a Benkauskas. Monk able to keep it in. DeLuzio, though, whacks at it, and it goes into the Beacons bench, so the Beacons will be able to change here with 5:11 to go in this third period, still knotted up at 1.
And your penalty killer's completely taxed. So that's 3 power plays this period alone. They've eaten up a lot of minutes. You cannot afford to take another penalty if you're UMass. And are we going to get a timeout? I wonder. Not yet, because it's an in-zone draw, but just with the amount of time your penalty killers have been out there, don't forget, folks, it's not a consistent line. You've got to pull players from different lines, so getting your lineup back into its full swing is now difficult. You really need a couple offensive zone shifts here to give those penalty killers some chance to rest. I mean, they've been out here for the majority of this period.
That shot goes just wide off a deflection. Staying with it, though, is Jaden York. That shot from the point and seeing it all the way was Sam Betts, and he'll glove it. He'll take a whistle.
You wonder, right, with the 3 penalty calls, boy, if you can put Skidmore on the ropes a little bit, right? The referees feel like they might owe UMass one. I mean, 3 penalties in the third period is a lot. Oh. And you wonder if there might be one coming back the other way. Only 5 minutes left to play, so not a ton of time to get redemption, but nevertheless, should be a good final 5.
Well, they owe UMass something, as we discovered that the goal that Skidmore scored was offside. Another chance on the trailer. A great save by Best, still loose in the crease. It somehow stays out. Sam Best, spectacular.
Incredible. I mean, first of all, the first save was in and of itself a great stop. The slap shot on the blocker side, it looked like, I mean, that was coming probably 70, 80 miles an hour. He was able to get the blocker on it. It was laying in the crease. He was fully extended. I don't know if he made a secondary save, but it really doesn't matter. Just the fact it didn't go in is good enough. So a face-off here, and we've seen a lot of defensive draws from this UMass team.
Face-off to the right of Best. Thomas Finnick and Mike Manzo. On the draw, Finnick wins it. That shot doesn't get through on the chance off the stick of Frisk. That one whacked at. There's Manzo with it. They'll move it across for Ryan Rowland, who will chip it back to center. It goes right on the stick to Will Dow Kenny. That one wheeled in, but Pat Keegan right there. He'll go D to D for Ryan Rowland. Mike Manzo now at center. Moves it for Grady Friedman. Friedman dances his way and will backhand it cross corner. That one goes behind the Skidmore net. Swooping in, though, is Thomas Finnick to get that puck, and he'll shovel it to Linderworth on the far side. Good job, though, by Grady Friedman on the back check to get it back. He'll bring it in on the near side, throws it towards goal. A save by Moore. There was a rebound there for a second, and taking an extra whack there was Friedman, and Skidmore didn't like that. Zach Frisk went after him.
Take a look at the replay here. This shot is going to get dropped back. That's a slap shot from mid-circle, mid-slot. I mean, just the fact he gets the first one here is great. And then, I mean, right there, laying in the crease, somehow doesn't go in.
Offensive zone face-off here. Andy Walker will take the draw. Being battled for. That one muscled behind the net by Magnuson. He'll turn again and this time reverse it. Jacob Banks, though, chips it down low. Andy Walker tried to maneuver to get a shot on net. Davis Browning now walking in. And the puck slips under his stick. A chance the other way. And a diving effort by Caden Patrick, but UMass able to get back. It's DeLuzio. He'll take it behind his own net and slow things down.
Terrible feeling as a defenseman to go and shoot the puck and you just feel air. And you have no idea where that puck is. The next thing you know, it's going back down your side.
Jacob Banks all by himself out there behind the net, stayed with it. Concannon came in, but wasn't able to get there first. Krapinski, though, now with it. He'll throw it towards goal. That kind of kicked out, handcuffed Blaine Moore for a second there, but Skidmore able to control it at center.
Certainly did. He hasn't seen a lot of action. You wonder, is he a little bit cold right now?
We approach 3 minutes to go in this third period. All knotted up at 1. These two teams fighting for final seeding in the New England Hockey Conference tournament.
Critical draw. On the offensive side here, trying to see who he's going to put out. It looks like this freshman line again. He likes the kids, and I'll tell you what, I like them too. They've been good. You really haven't had much offense from your forwards here tonight, but I think this line has done enough to earn this spot. Just under 3 to play in the offensive zone. Manzo, traditionally your best center.
Like Manzo, Mason Beecher. Manzo wins it. Pat Keegan backhands it for Grady Friedman. Friedman stick handling with it against the boards. Gets stapled there by Perez. Still tied up. Digging away. Pat Keegan comes out with it. Steps into one. Goes just wide. On the blocker side. That one sticked up in the air. Out at the far point, being battled for. Chipped back out to center by Cozy, but sent right back in. Blaine Moore will leave it off for Freddie Elias. Elias will move it over for Perez. The stretch pass, tipped in by Jaden York, so no icing. Skidmore makes a full change. Sam Best leaves it off for Pat Keegan. As we're approaching 2 minutes to go in this third period. That pass flipped high in the air. Grady Friedman pulls up, waits, holds, shoots, just misses. Under the blocker of Moore. Andy Walker tried to center it, but goes right to Zach Frisk, who will stick it down the ice. But it will be an icing, so with 1:51 to go, the Beacons will have an offensive zone faceoff.
I don't know about this icing call. I think UMass was the one who sent it down. Referees are talking about it. Linesmen seem sure. I thought UMass were the ones who had that puck go down length of the ice. Either way, and I'm looking, neither coach thinking about their timeout here. Cannon first line on the ice. Cannon will take the draw.
Winning it though is Thomas Finnick. Skidmore controls. That one moved ahead, but it goes under the stick of Linderworth. So another icing. This time with 1:42 to go, so the face-off will come right back in the Skidmore end.
Cannon to the lefty, it should be on that side, or is it going to be on the right side? So now, Guggens will take the draw. Yeah, so he's a righty, so it's on his side. So Guggens should take this draw. You can see him talking about what they want to run here. Guggens isn't taking the draw.
Owen Bordeaux.
Bordeaux's taking the draw. A little bit of a line change here. Clifton usually on this line. Bordeaux now on this line.
That one whacked towards the goal. Goes wide. Guggens tied up. Linderworth tries to move it ahead. Nice play, though, by Concannon on the back check to keep it in momentarily. Now Bordeaux swoops in. Bordeaux shoots it. Save. Puck still loose. Guggens now has it behind the net. And once again, the net coming off, and the Beacons, an unlucky break.
Yeah, that's tough, man, because you've got possession. Skidmore was kind of pinned on top of their own net. And I understand the ref, you got to make the call. The ref knows when the net comes off, got to blow the whistle. But with that type of possession, right, you just want to make sure. And now we'll see that timeout. Skidmore is going to take it. I think it's a good use.
So Coach Rob Hutchinson will take the timeout in his 7th season with just a minute 24 to go in this game. Izzy, what are you telling your players at the bench here?
Well, your faceoffs have been somewhat good offensively, but defensively, I don't think. Let me look at the statistics here. I don't think Skidmore has done too well in their own zone. Yeah, 25% on the right side, which is where that faceoff's going to be. They've only won 1 so far. Well, that's through 2 periods. So, for me, I think if you're Skidmore, you just got to make sure let's not lose it clean, right? We do whatever we've got to do. If we lose it, but don't lose it clean. I think if you're UMass, they're drawing something up. I can see Coach Blyles in there right now. Yeah, you can see him right there, folks, drawing something up. So he's got a play in mind. He's been, obviously, I'm sure, watching the way these faceoffs have been going all night. The last setup they had, they were keeping their winger on top of the circle. So I wonder if they're going to go with the same setup here. We'll have to see. It's always curious to me which faceoff plays you're running with. Let's take a look at what setup they go with. Again, Skidmore, it's pretty simple. You just can't lose the draw clean. So you've got to tie up. So Beacon's going with a different look here, and they're going with that young line again. They changed it up. They're going with the kids. Manzo wins it clean.
Ryan Rowland keeping it in. He'll send it around the kick blade. Manzo has it behind the net. Manzo shoveling it back for Rowland, who will chip it back in. Rowland takes a spill. Puck comes back to center. Pat Keegan now with it. Chip it off the boards. Then Matthews chips it in. A minute to go here in the final period. Still knotted up at 1. That pass high in the air. Gloved down by Rowland. He'll enter. Ryan Rowland a chance. Off the crossbar.
Unbelievable. Oh, my gosh. This place would have exploded. Right off the fresh. Clean. Right off the crossbar.
40 seconds now. Keegan sticks it back to center. Taking a spill there was Jaden York. Sent right back in. Ryan Rowland with it. As we approach the final 30 seconds. That one sticked ahead but not out. Shoveled right back in. Pat Keegan banking it off the glass. Back to center. Danny Magnuson with it now. We'll move it over for Elias. Elias flips it high in the air. Gloved down by Davis Browning in the final 15. He gives it away. There's a chance there almost for Nick Posey. Coogan's though. Back the other way in the final 10. He'll enter. Getting there first though is Mason Beecher. He'll move it to the far side for Elias. Back to center. Perhaps a chance for Jaden York. That one flipped in, and that'll do it. And we'll go to overtime for some free hockey here.
This is such an extra important point, the extra point here. Take a look at this replay, folks. But this point really is critical for both these teams. Right next to each other in the conference. You take a look, rolling in, and this goes clean off the crossbar, folks, right here.
And you mentioned it, Mizey. Blaine Moore, who hadn't faced a lot of rubber in the second half of this game, a little bit shaky in that third period.
Yeah, he's definitely cold. I mean, and that's something that the bench should be talking about right now. I'm taking a look. He's not doing much stretching or skating. I mean, I think as a goaltender, you've got to recognize I've been beat. He got beat twice in that period. Neither one cost him or went up on the board, but I think he looks a little bit cold, a little bit shaky right now. I'd be talking about that on the bench. But this point is just so critical for both of these teams. I mean, you take a look at where they are in the conference, and we talked about some of these scenarios in the pregame. UMass currently in 5th, Skidmore in 6th. The difference by a single game. UMass is 8-8 in the conference. Skidmore is 7-7 with 2 ties. Their percentage is 500, obviously. So this point really could go a long way, depending on what happens tomorrow. You've got Skidmore playing against Johnson and Wales. UMass will play against Castleton, 2 teams that are on the bottom half of the conference. So just a lot riding in this 5 minutes right here. If either one of these teams can get this extra point, it could potentially be the difference, not just in where you finish in the conference, but depending on what Elmira does, you could get this point could loft you into 3rd place when the weekend is all over.
Elmira will play at home their last 2 games against New England College and then against Norwich.
And you've got 2 teams. You've got Norwich and Hobart, who not only in the conference, 2 national programs right now. Hobart, number 1 in the country. Norwich, I think, is 5. So you really want to avoid having to go on the road to play either one of those teams. I think these teams are probably safe from that scenario. But it just goes to show how strong this conference is, and if you can try and find a way to get to that third or fourth seed and get home ice, it really does go a long way.
So Guggens, Bankowskis, and Rowland, the threesome out for UMass. It'll be Elias, Frisk, and Beecher. Beecher controls. He'll enter. Has it up top. Possession so crucial in this 3-on-3 as Beecher takes it behind the net. And he'll just take it back to the neutral zone. Leaving it off for Zach Frisk. Zach Frisk with speed. Cuts to the middle, shot. Saved by Best. Rebound kicked out.
Here we
A chance the other way. Guggens and Bankowskis, a 2-on-0. Guggens closes for Bankowskis. What a save by Blaine Moore, getting the pad down.
All you had to do is elevate it. You've got a 6'5" goaltender. His legs go on forever, and you can see he knows that pass is probably coming across. So as soon as he sees that puck released, he's taking the bottom half of the ice away. I think Bankowskis just got the puck a little too late. There wasn't enough room left to elevate the puck. A great save by Moore, nevertheless. I don't want to take anything away. That's a tremendous save. Forget everything I said about him being cold. That's not the case anymore. That's just a great save. I think we got an ice issue. He came across so hard, that puck. Take a look at the replay here. That puck, or his body hit the net so violently. And you can see the 2-on-0. I'd give it to him there. Because then you give Bankowskis the option to shoot or go back across. And Bankowskis took a hit. He ended up going hard into the corner. But watch, and the puck was rolling. It's tough. I mean, you can always second guess a 2-on-0, but good on both players. The first and foremost is you got to get a shot on goal. No matter what happens, you've got to get a shot on goal. They did that, but a great save by Moore. And we got an ice issue here. I think Moore came across so violently, hit the post or hit the post and net so hard that he actually something going on with the peg. It looks like.
As they come out with the drill, but as you alluded to, Mizey, this extra point being so crucial because I believe if the Beacons lose this game in overtime, I think that ends any of their chances of having home ice in the first round of the tournament.
Correct. Yeah. So you just had it. You know, that's the thing too, right? You'll depends on how the game ends, right? If you win it, no one will talk about it. But if you tie or you lose, man, you're going to be wondering on that 2-on-0 what could have been.
So this time it'll be Andy Walker with Grady Friedman and Pat Keegan. The threesome out for the Beacons. The same threesome that started for Skidmore will be out there as they control. Elias behind his net. We'll leave it off for Zach Frisk. Frisk now with speed. On the near side, nice job though by Grady Friedman to win the puck. Friedman tried to move it ahead, but Mason Beecher on the back check was able to get it back. Now moved ahead for Zach Frisk. Threw it in the middle. Beacons couldn't control. A good opportunity for possession, but Danny Magnuson relentless there.
That's twice now they've defended well and had a chance to gain possession of the puck on their own. Weren't able to do so. It's a scary feeling 3-on-3 when you're defending the whole time. It's man on man, and you just don't want to get beat by a guy you're covering. That's all.
Stretch pass now for Caden Patrick. Working against Andy Walker. Patrick will pull up. As Everett Wardle out there as well. Patrick will take it back to center. Under 3:30 now to go in this overtime period. Magnuson with it at center. He'll bring it in. Take it to the outside. Now loop back. Moves it cross ice. Everett Wardle. He'll take it back to center. Now back moved over for Magnuson. He'll bring in. He'll try to center it.
Play it. Oh.
Sam Best.
Yeah, with 3-on-3, you can't play as conservative as you want to there. You've got Keegan, who you can get possession, right? That's an instant possession for your team. Keegan's right there all alone. I understand you want to play it safe, take the end zone draw, get a change there, but again, possession is everything with 3-on-3. If you let that puck go, it hits you right in the chest, and let Keegan possess, you could probably still get the change, and now you don't have to take an end zone draw.
Skidmore controls. Moved up top. Nick Cozy walking in, a shot. He scores!
It cost him. If you play the puck there, I wonder what happens. Too many end zone draws, too much time defending. I understand the decision by Best to cover that puck, but with Keegan right there, you just have to get him. I think you got to find a way to get him that puck and avoid taking that end zone draw. You've just put too much. You're asking too much of your centers.
So Nick Cozy, the junior out of Greenway, New York, is the overtime hero for Skidmore, grabbing just his second of the year. And Skidmore will take the extra point. So I believe, if I am correct, UMass will be on the road to start the New England Hockey Conference tournament.
Great save by Moore. How about that save? You know, and that's one where you need your goaltender. Coaches will talk about timely saves. We need timely saves from our goaltender, and that's exactly what they're talking about. It was goalies duel tonight. I thought both goaltenders played well. It came down to a very finite difference. One goaltender made a save on a 2-on-0, and I hate to do it like we talked about. You know, we talked about the holding the goalie card, but I just wonder they're best playing maybe a little too conservative. Again, in overtime, it's all about possession, and so you'll see it at the NHL level as well. Oftentimes, goaltenders, they have the opportunity to hold the puck, but they'll actually play it because possession is just so valuable in overtime. You'll figure out the rest. You just want to gain possession as much as possible, and for a team that was really defending the majority, other than the 2-on-0, UMass was defending the most of that overtime. You've got an opportunity there with really no pressure, no thoroughbreds around to get that puck to your co-captain in Keegan and maybe find a way to generate some offense. I just think is a little too conservative by 33 to hold on to that puck, and they end up losing the draw, and he gets beat on the ensuing shot. So tough. It's a little nitpicky because, again, I'm up here, I'm not on the ice, you know, and it's you're never going to fault a goaltender for covering a puck and getting a face-off, but just in that one scenario, I think that's one where you've got to try and give your team an extra, or the possession of the puck there, especially after they had been defending for so long.
Possession so crucial in the 3-on-3, and it's Skidmore who will come out with a 2-1 overtime victory over UMass. That'll wrap up our overtime action, and we'll step aside and be right back to go over our final scoring summary and game stats here on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris. The subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny, nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, then I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that, and it's all about growing as a person.
My coaches have helped me with figuring out who I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school, it's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
I'm the first undergraduate alumnus to lead this university. I'm very proud of that. I was literally able to transform my life because of the University of Massachusetts, and I want that for every single student that walks through the door.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
Cheer for the stumbles. The he shoulda had that's. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoke.
And welcome back here inside Edward T. Barry Ice Rink as we wrap up our coverage here. As go over our scoring summary as Koye Benkauskas opened the scoring for the Beacons at 9:18 in the first period. Michael Krapinski with the assist. It was Benkauskas' fourth of the season, but that's all the Beacons would register on the scoreboard here tonight. It was Matthew Monk at 5:18 of the second, tying things up. Everett Wardle on the assist, and then Nick Cozy, his second of the season, at 2:01 of overtime from Devin Musio and Thomas Finnick. And that's our scoring summary for this one as we take a look at our game stats. Beacons getting outshot, and talked about first two periods, the Beacons were ahead in that department, but Skidmore finished strong in this one with 36 shots on net. Sam Best with 34 saves, 28 saves for Blaine Moore, including a huge one in overtime. And then the Beacons 0 for 2 on the power play, Skidmore 0 for 6. As now we're going to show a replay earlier in the game, the first goal by Matthew Monk. As we talked about this, Mizey, clearly offsides. As you see, Caden Patrick enters the zone, his skate on, post skates on the ice.
Right
the puck
there.
Still at the blue line, that is offside.
Right there, that frame shows it right there. It's clearly offsides. And, you know, you look at the linesman, he's right there. I mean, to not be able to call that is kind of inexcusable. I mean, quite frankly, this is the collegiate level. These referees have been doing it for quite some time. And then that goal, again, off a face-off, it's tough. They ran a nice play. Unattended in the slot here. You see he's walking in all alone there. Maybe rolling a little bit late, getting out to him. Probably could have been going out a little bit sooner, but just little things like that. We were talking a little bit off air. You know, in a game like this where you know it's going to be close, it's going to be a one-goal difference. You know, those two plays and then the decision by Best to hold that puck and not give it to Keegan, I think is your hockey game. Three decisions, right? One by the referee, and then at the end of the game there by Best. And you wonder when you're in the moment, right? It's easy for us to analyze, but when you're in the moment like that, it's you know, a snap decision that you're going to have to make, yes or no, and what you're doing. So, tough outcome for the Beacons. I think they were right there with Skidmore. I wouldn't be surprised if these teams meet each other in the first round. I think if Elmira takes care of business, they've got a tough weekend too. You mentioned, you know, they got Norwich, so we'll have to see how things pan out. But for me, I think these teams are just destined to have one more matchup, the third of the season, and I think that's what we're going to see in the first round. The challenge with that, Skidmore has one of the largest rinks in collegiate hockey. It's larger than Olympic. It's an actual lake. It's huge. So the difference, right, with this overtime and this goal is now instead of playing at home, which is just an NHL sheet, someplace you're used to, you practice here all the time, you've got to go to Skidmore where it completely changes the way you have to play. The ice is so big. There's so many places you can hide out there. The coaching staff is completely going to have to change the game plan, assuming that happens, right? There's a lot of other scenarios that could play out, but that's just to give you some insight into, you know, how big of a goal and how big of a point that was.
Well, the conclusion of this one is that the hockey gods are not always just, as Skidmore comes out with an overtime win 2-1 over UMass, and that's our final. But we'll be back here tomorrow afternoon, Senior Day, as the Beacons will close out their season with a contest against Castleton. But that'll wrap up our coverage for tonight. Just want to thank our production crew, Michael Vesey, our producer, director Zelina Albano, who is spectacular on replay tonight. Camera operators, as always, Gina Albano, Ali Albano, Dylan Wurzberger, Elsa Bianco, Tam Landry, as always, on graphics, and replay Grace Kelly, who also did a phenomenal job with us here. Thanks to everybody on our productions team. I'm Andrew Bluestein for Matt Meisenbacher. We thank you for joining us here on the Beacons Broadcast Network. Once again, final score.